wondering what our summers are going to be like around here. Is there going to be any camps for kids? Because the schools are closed for the rest of the year. But a little light when the day starts with Purdue and Oregon saying, hey, we're going to have kids on campus. Well, by noontime, we found out locally the beaches were going to open. We're going to find more out about what's going to go on in the state of Florida by the end of the week, and more even today. So it certainly appears that the reopening of society is beginning. I am guessing that doesn't sit incredibly well with all of you. With a lot of you, you're very fired up. The cabin fever is at a rate for most of us that we've never experienced before. And it looks as if, well, at least without fans, we're going to have NASCAR, which means basketball, hockey, baseball may be all right around the corner. And that certainly means that football looks a little more realistically than it has in a long, long time. I mean, yesterday, I don't know if you could have had a more positive day than we had yesterday. That, to me, was an excellent, excellent day. For as badly as things have gone and hope and despair seems out the window, when you get a full day of, hey, we're moving forward with a few things, that, to me, is exciting. Now, I don't know what it'll mean for the fall sports. I don't know what it'll mean for the baseballs and the basketballs and the hockey, but it certainly seems that with NASCAR jumping in, with locally some things happening, the pickleball community's got to be ecstatic. Because from what I heard, we're going to open not just the beaches, but the parks and the dog parks. So I think people will be out and about today. I think we'll see some traffic for the first time in a while. And I don't even know if people are going to complain all that much about being in traffic. It's Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio. David will join me whenever we can get him hooked up. There's some problems going on, and the more and more I see that David's not on with us, the more and more I believe that it's on his end. A technical problem. Sounds strange. But again, we should have something going here in no time. In the meantime, I will do my best to keep you entertained. It is, last night jumped into The Last Dance. I'm now 3 of 4. I'll watch the other one tonight. Wife and I have done it together. The one I watched yesterday was a little bit of the Rodman. And getting into that, Dennis thinks a lot of himself. They won 3 before he got there, but he seems to think he is the catalyst of all of it. But I saw John Sally make a comment, and I thought this was great, because Sally doesn't really seem to give two blanks anymore about anything. I've watched him there's a show that was on Vice, Bong Appetit, where they basically cook with pot. And John Sally was one of the guests. I'm like, is that John Sally? So I watched for a little bit. So John's certainly in his post-career is a little more liberal with what he does with life. But I thought his comment was terrific on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, in when he said, man, Michael Jordan still goes to sleep at night and we bother him? That makes me feel good. I appreciate that. I like that way better than Isaiah saying, I would have done things differently. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have come close to doing them differently. They never did anything differently. I don't like that excuse to come out 30 years later. I wish I would have. I don't think you wish you would have shook their hands in the moment, and you never showed really much remorse for 30 years. You're just honked off you weren't on the dream team, Isaiah. I think that's the fact of that. But it looks as if David has had a full-on crash of his equipment. He is breaking social distancing. Breaking news. Miller and Moulton apparently are going to be in the same studio this morning at some point. I don't know what the wife and daughter are going to think about it, but I didn't ask for permission. I'm going to go through this the way I go through most of my life. I'm going to ask for forgiveness, not for permission, as apparently David has now left his house and is on his way here. So we'll have the duo back together for the first time here in about 10 minutes. That means that I have to do a starting five, of which I have no idea what the starting five is about, unless we're going to hook up with David via phone before then. Still got to work on getting a poll question out there for today. And we have to, I've got to be able to move microphones here, because normally we sit 2 feet away. Now I've got to put David on the other end. I've got to get a lot wider shot on the camera. Giro did just text in. That is very, very smart of our producer, is that he says we've got to be 6 feet away. So the table is 6 foot. I've got to move microphones and cameras to get a wider shot. There's going to be a lot of commotion going on during the commercial breaks today. That's all I can tell you. My boredom is factored in a way that I probably am going to annoy our Twitch and YouTube audience, and that my teaching afternoons go to the daughter. We finish the show, I start the kindergarten. And, well, I'm bored. So yesterday, we did jump on Facebook Live instead of a YouTube and Twitch. I have her read her AR books daily. And it started, anybody that's watched the shows, watched my daughter come in here, scared to death of the light, scared to death of the microphone. It is amazing what this has done. And I hope with some of you that have been home with your kids, you've been able to watch, just things happen. These organic things happen with your children. But now my daughter's to the point where when we read the AR book, she looks at me and she goes, well, aren't we going to go in and do it in front of the camera? Are we doing it live today? So I have had many saying, look out for the show hosting. I said she will not be involved in radio. I've already sent the demo tapes to Wink, NBC, ABC, and even Fox, hoping for a little side work, because I know during this particular times that, we got to get her earning. It's the way I look at it. Not sure about sports. I've always wanted the news thing. I think we'll shove her towards news, or maybe weather and traffic. Seems very safe. 479-5551. What do you think? We're starting to open back up. In fact, we're opening up so much that David Moulton's on his way to my house. I don't know what kind of panic going on over there right now. But we have got to get the studio set up for the 6 feet buffers. I wish I'd ordered plexiglass that I could have put right here in between us, but that's not the case. We will, we'll figure this out as we go along. And maybe this is the start of Miller and Moulton working in the same room again for a while. I do think that we were talking yesterday, a friend of mine that does a show in the D.C. area and a little more national as well, he started doing virtual happy hours on Friday. And I said, that's a great idea. Maybe we'll start that ourselves. I thought the draft was fun for a lot of us that were on Twitch. It seemed that the folks that were there had a good time and enjoyed it, and it just was kind of like going to the bar virtually. We had everybody in the same room chatting and complaining and talking, and so I thought maybe we'd start doing that on Fridays and a little loose atmosphere and be able to spend a little time virtually with the listeners. Maybe we're closer to being able to go somewhere and doing it for real. I don't know what it's going to look like. Don't know if we're going to have to, you're not going to be able to. Think about the differences going forward. So if bars and restaurants have to set up in some sort of social distancing, how do you walk up and approach someone to talk to them? There was a great Larry Bud Melman bit on Letterman years ago when the crowd would ask Larry Bud things. And the guy says, how do I get the best looking girl on campus to notice I'm alive? And he says, well, first, gain a lot of weight, because if there's more of you, there's more of you to see. But he finished by saying, whenever you see her, say her name really loudly and run up to her. And that's all I can imagine now, is that you see a group of girls at the bar and you want to walk up or you buy them a drink. Hi, how are you? Can I get your phone number? This draft, this new age of social distancing going out, I am really happy that I'm married, that I don't have to meet people, and that I'm content social distancing for a long, long time. I mean, I'm not David. David said the first thing he wants to do is get out and go to the bar, hang out at the sports bar. It's not up on my list. I'm ready to go for a walk on the beach today. I mean, I'm going to check that one off the box. It depends when I finish golf. Let's be honest. I got a tee time. But I'm not sure I'm running out to bars. I'm not. I'd love to go out to dinner. Can't wait for the restaurants to open. But I do think the young kids don't care. But in Florida, we don't have the young generation. We have the second marriage generation. The divorcees that are going to be out there trying to pick people up. And I think it'll be interesting. There's no way the Witch's Brew could have made it in this type of atmosphere. That's the one thing that I do know. David is on his way to Estero. He had some equipment issues this morning. I have no idea what they were. But, this is what we've come to. And our social distancing, I've got to make a lot of studio moves during the break. I have no idea what his ETA is. I know he's locked out, that's for certain. And I know that the wife and daughter are going to go, what the heck? But no problems there. We're back at it, Miller and Moulton. I'm going to go ahead and get the first break, socially distance the studio, get a bottle of Lysol to spray at him when he walks in, and, we'll try to do some sort of starting five on the other side. I may even call him and make him do it over the phone. But he should be, he's on his way. There still is no traffic. We'll see how well that goes. Bill Bender from the Sporting News will talk college football and what that schedule may look like coming up today. Seth Everett, for his usual appearance on Miller and Moulton, will be at 8:30. We'll get a poll question up. We'll see if we can get David over to the studios. We'll socially distance as best we can in here, and we'll be back momentarily. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. Fox Sports Radio, where we stream.
Here in Southwest Florida, we've seen devastation from storms, but we've never seen anything like the economic devastation caused by the COVID-19 virus. Our friends and neighbors who have never needed help are suddenly wondering where their next meal will come from. We're all in this together, and together we are Gulf Shore Strong. Please consider helping by making a donation at floridacommunity.com, a project of the Southwest Florida Community Foundation and Fox Sports Radio.
Blue Emu Deep Penetrating and Odor-Free Formula supplies healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast, and you won't stink.
Gotta go to Galliana.
Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati of Fort Myers are taking every precaution to keep you and your family safe with dealer-to-door delivery. Plus, we're making deals we've never made before on over 1,500 new and pre-owned vehicles. Sleek, sophisticated Kia Forte lease, 0 down, $149 per month. Yes, a new Kia for 0 down, $149 per month. Loaded, luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited lease, 0 down, $269 per month. That's right, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, 0 down, $269 per month. Plus, Galliana gives you interest-free financing up to 84 months, no payments for up to 120 days, and prepaid gas for a year. Our parts, service, and body shop are open to serve you at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati of Fort Myers. Call 239-481-2600, GallianaCars.com. 42-month lease on Jeep, 36 months Kia, 10,000 miles per year, 0 to it signing, plus first month tax, tag, title, doc, and dealer fee, 0 security deposit with lender approval.
Wake up to facts, not fear, with Wink News This Morning.
We're following breaking COVID-19 news.
Breaking developments in the coronavirus story and everything else you trust Wink News to bring you every morning.
Right now, we're looking good on Doppler radar, Arcadia, Port Charlotte.
If you're looking for the fastest option north of 23rd,
The new poll shows that 60% of Americans approve of
Wink News, up to the minute you're up. Tomorrow morning, starting at 4:30.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Heat pumps take heat out of the air and put it in your pool. They cost less to run than gas heaters, and you won't have panels on your roof. Special pricing, rebates, and free on-site evaluations. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show
Hey there.
at work. Never boring.
Hey, Maddie.
Sure. Streaming 24/7 at
Maddie.
foxsportsfm.com.
Yeah. You want to do a segment with me? Come here. I still want to hug.
Dan Martineau here, owner of DR Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing.
You want to say anything to the Twitch audience?
239-332-1441.
Why not? You shut the door then?
License number CCC 1326954.
You want to read your book during the next commercial? Chicken and mittens? Coward.
At Naples Nissan, the answer is yes. Yes, we're open.
Absolute
and you can still
coward.
get the original base MSRP for your trade-in. Yes, your new Nissan will come with a full tank of gas for the next year and our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. And yes, absolutely yes, our entire team is fully committed to doing everything we can to help keep our entire Southwest Florida community healthy and safe. If your trade-in is less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll still pay you what you paid for it so you can drive home in a brand new, disinfected Nissan today. That's right, folks. Every new Nissan that leaves our lot will be treated with our long-term antimicrobial sanitizer. It's like a flu shot for your car. Plus, a full tank of gas on us for the next year. To learn more about everything we're saying yes to, come see us on Pine Ridge Road or visit naplesnissan.com. Yes, offers are on select models with approved credit, and yes, they can be combined.
Here we go! Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Well, the only thing that I was unable to get to during the break, a little worried about where the feet are. If you're watching on Twitch, I would like to know if you approve of our social distancing. David, not here yet. I think we're 6 feet. It's close. I think I've got us each at the end of the table. So I think this will work. I was going to try to get a tape measure, and any time that David started leaning in, because as you know, if you are a longtime listener of this show, David, more so than I am, we are both hands talkers. But David has more Jersey in him, obviously, more New York in him, that he works the hands a little more than I will when it comes to talking. And I'll Leo Mazzoni shake, but he can lean in. And I wanted to keep a 6-foot measuring stick so I could kind of poke him if he got too close. But David, on his way to the studio, he had some problems at home, and Miller and Moulton going out on a limb. We are testing the social distancing as best we can. I'm fired up. I've wanted Moulton. I never wanted him to leave. Facts be known. I would have done this show in the same room throughout all of this. David made the decision when it looked as if I was going to be teaching not just my daughter, but a couple of other kids. And that was smart. Well, the mother of the twins said, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. And okay. So once that didn't happen, I'm like, you don't have to not show up. Yeah, I think I better. I think it's the right move with what's going on. And in retrospect, I think he was right. But looks as if, and again, if any of you out there are plexiglass dealers, I would really love to put plexiglass between David and I just for effect. Really, not that I care, more for effect. But outside of that, I think we'll be fine this morning. Again, someone did on the text line, David's going to need 2 Pop-Tarts. He really is. And I don't have them. That's the problem. If I'd have known about this, I don't think Instacart starts this early as a part-time employee for the grocery delivery service. It's what it's come to in this world. So I don't think they deliver this early. Might be able to go after Wally's and see if I can get the wife to run and pick up. That might be what it is, because the wife's got Wednesday off. I may see if the wife will run to Wally's and get David a Taylor ham sandwich. That might be what it takes this morning. 479-5551, 479-5551 is the Williamson Brothers Marine talk and text line. Couple of things that happened sports-wise yesterday. I thought the biggest really, and you know what, Giro, go ahead and roll it. It's time now for
the starting 5 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Well, Major League Baseball talking about a 3-division realignment going on right now as well. That's one of the things out there. I mean, this is going to be crazy. But for an abbreviated season, Bob Nightingale reporting that we would have 3 divisions, 10-team divisions, and an expanded playoff field. I don't know how this works, but it does say, optimism about playing this season is said to be growing around baseball. I think yesterday was a significant day for the sports world. I really believe that the growth that we needed, the moving forward that we needed, started yesterday. And there are going to be plenty of you that don't agree with what the decisions were about the beaches and opening and things of that nature. So I do think yesterday was a significant day. I don't know how much of your starting 5 you wrote. Are we 6 feet? I mean, do you feel like because I was going to get a measuring stick and poke you if you got too close.
We're close.
I mean, this is a 6-foot table. I'm at one end of the table. I tried to back you up, but there's a lot over there. I mean, you came at me a little quick with this.
We are
this morning.
6 feet.
And we're on camera. I mean, that's as wide of a shot as I can get, David. But my next story is the NASCAR announcement yesterday that it looks as if NASCAR is going to be making their debut at Darlington on May 17th. They're going to race in Charlotte. North Carolina is allowing this. The 24th, they've talked about midweek races.
They've talked about midweek races for years to try to just boost up interest and ratings and what have you. Wouldn't this be the year, if you're any sport, to try it? All the stuff that you've spitballed for the last dozen years, don't you just do it this year and see if it works? Because if it doesn't, well, it's the coronavirus year.
Absolutely.
And besides, there's a good chance it'll work because we're starved for sports. And I would think midweek anything. I mean, there's very little original programming on the networks right now.
You made that point yesterday or the day before when you talked about these networks could do whatever they want in the fall. It's not like California's open for business and they're filming shows right now.
Right. They're not taping Blue Bloods in Manhattan.
When you said that, I didn't really think about that never once dawned on me. Of all the things out there, when you said that, I went, holy cow. If they started filming, they had to end it. I mean, I don't know what the time frame is to do a new season, but I know they're in the midst of it.
Well, and if you notice, the networks are putting off as long as possible decisions on what they're canceling and what they're bringing back. Because, quite frankly, it almost doesn't matter. Do we continue taping year 12 of a certain show or year 1 of a new show? Well, either way, we're not doing it. So I'm telling you, if you're Fox, you could be 7 days a week showing sports. That could be your network. You could be showing baseball and football. NBC, I mean, second half of the NASCAR season. Here's the other thing, Mark. We're about a third of the way. No, we're actually, a third of the way through what would be a normal NASCAR season. Well, the TV package is split in half.
Who's getting it?
Exactly. So does Fox now start up and do about 4 or so weeks worth of races, and then NBC's got the final 3+ months? And if they're jamming in midweek races and they do it all in the second half of the season, right, are they all on NBC? Because NBC will be like, because it's not like they got Chicago Hope or whatever to run.
I like how you're just throwing out random shows. And whether or not they're real shows or not, with me sitting here, David, I knew Blue Bloods was, but you could just sit here and go, Colorado Vice, and I go, yes. What network's that on?
I believe Chicago Hope was actually a show that was on CBS, but I know NBC, one of their nights is like an all-Chicago lineup. They got like a Chicago police show, a Chicago fire show, or what have you. So I think I combined a show with the wrong network.
It's David, you've got me.
I don't know. All I know is all my wife's shows that has her crying are not on the air right now. But listen, it's so bad for the daytime soaps. They're re-airing old soaps. And I don't mean recent old soaps either. They're like going to like bring back some of the classics. I mean, don't be surprised if you start seeing Luke and Laura during the summer.
Okay. I'm just letting you know right now, David, if Stefano and Marlena or Luke and Laura are on any time, you stop everything you're doing, you call me, you text me, and you say, you need to get the television on now.
No doubt about it. If Deidre Hall's back at 1 o'clock, you're getting a phone call.
But, David, a couple of things. First off, I apologize because this morning I was running late. So then I get up and I hook up with David, and I talked to him, and he didn't say anything. I'm like, well, that's weird. Because
You're thinking to yourself, what's his problem?
No, because it's every other morning that you don't have you never have the headsets on when we initially get on our phone call.
I don't want to be bothered.
Right. But it makes it difficult to, communicate.
Right.
And so I'm like, hey, and he doesn't say anything back. And then at 5:59, I can't hear you. And I'm like, I can't hear you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't hear me? I can't hear you. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't hear a thing. So what'd you do here?
NASCAR,
that's it?
Baseball, the 10-team, three-division, 10-team alignment story in USA Today. Story 3, knock yourself out.
Looks as if the Hall of Fame induction is going to be pushed back to 2021, so the Derek Jeter year, if you will, of the Hall of Fame will likely happen a year from now. A sad story. They're optimistic, though. Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini revealed yesterday he has stage 3 colon cancer. He credits the Orioles for going above and beyond to actually find out what was wrong with him. He found out over a month ago. He's having to go through everything alone, however. He can't have his girlfriend or any family go through any of the treatments with him. My wife officially letting us know Chicago Hope was a real show on CBS about 2 decades ago. So there you go. The NHL, by the way, same timeline they're discussing as baseball is discussing. And the plans right now call for the resumption of the regular season with expanded rosters. There are roughly 11 to 14 games left in the NHL season, depending on, what team you are. College sports yesterday, some big news. Deshaun Nix decommits from UCLA to go play in the G League. He is the third elite college player to make that decision in the last week or so. The G League and the NBA 2 years ago when they said, we're going to throw some more money at these players and they threw out there, but we're not going to take kids who have already committed to college basketball. We are not going to hurt college basketball. We're just going to open things up so that we can take the kids that don't want to play college ball. Well, that's not what's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's fine. How many kids are really going to avoid? I mean, how many kids are we talking about here? We're not talking about that many kids.
Well, not right now. Right now we're at 3.
Right, but I'm not too, again, I know we're at 3, but it's one of those things to me that I'm not as worried about.
The NCAA this morning appears as if they're going to take the first steps towards letting student athletes profit off of name, image, and likeness. College football news, Michigan wide receiver Tariq Black announced he's going to transfer to Texas. He had announced at the end of last season that he was leaving. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. 28-year-old Chiefs cornerback Bashard Breeland, who had 7 tackles and an interception in the Super Bowl win, arrested in South Carolina yesterday. Mark, this is a classic. He's got marijuana, he's got a little hash, he's got open container, and then on top of it, he resisted arrest.
Did he fill out complete the grand slam with the gun in the car?
No gun.
Okay.
No gun, but marijuana, hash, and booze, and had the open container on top of it, and then resisted arrest. So there you have it.
And that is?
Well, it's quite the starting 5.
The starting 5. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
At 24 minutes before 7 o'clock.
We're really at around 5 feet 4 inches. Just letting you know, I'm a little disappointed. I don't know if we can get to 6 feet without moving a lot of boxes. I mean, we were in the midst of a...
I could turn away.
David, I don't care. I said... I would have had you here the entire time. I've taken this very seriously. I still am. I still wouldn't have had a problem with you coming over every morning.
Okay.
So I'm not. I have no problem with
sure.
you. I have no problem with you here today. I'm more concerned with whether or not your wife's going to let you back in the house after being exposed to this house.
I understand. I think so because every other week she lets me go to Publix. So I think she's.
That could be the poll question. Safer, Publix or the Miller household?
Come on now. It's the Miller household. Although now I think I'm at the point in which, like, I wore a mask to Publix the last time I went, and I did it as much, quite frankly, for everybody else.
Well, that is really what you're wearing it for.
But I just meant peace of mind, that because now in the last couple of weeks, I think you're starting to get the look. Like there are when I go out, and usually it's just to get food, I see more people with masks or some sort of face protection, scarf, bandana, whatever, than I don't see. And so you kind of get the look from those that are wearing facial protection when you're not. And so I did it just to, make others feel more comfortable.
And that is remarkable because really Miller and Moulton's MO in life has been to make others feel uncomfortable.
Well, and it's not on purpose. It's just a gift. That's all. It's just a gift that we have. So, but I wore the mask and, did the grocery thing. And even did groceries for the mother-in-law. I mean, when people find out you're going shopping, they say, hey, can you pick up these 6 things? So, we got that thing going on as well. I have to deliver the groceries today.
All right. Well, Miller and Moulton back in the saddle as distanced as we can. I do think this might be the best watch ever on Twitch or YouTube.
Well, especially since the headset that I'm using is broken, too. So I'm having to
Well, that headset's from about 2001, isn't it?
At least.
I mean, that's from the old place early on at the old place.
Well, I think I used this headset to broadcast the first ever FGCU games. I mean, this headset's a minimum of 18 years old. Absolutely.
And, Maddie and I have been using it for AR reading, so I think that might have been where it went down for the count.
It's a big hit on Twitch.
Yeah, got to do what we got to do.
People love adorable 6-year-olds.
That's it. I had a few people yesterday that said, when I put that up, said, she's in your hosting job on your show's in competition. I'm like, no. She's not going into radio. That's not happening.
No, we want her to have a successful career.
Correct.
Right.
I have sent it to Wink and NBC, seeing if they're looking for, kid on the town type video. But I thought yesterday, and I said this before, you may have heard it driving over. I do think yesterday was a significant day in that NASCAR coming back. And just here locally with the beaches opening, it seemed to be the first time that damn near universally, baseball making some talks, basketball making some talks. It's now that the talks seem to be a little more action, that they're starting to develop plans, and we're starting to perhaps maybe see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, what I've sensed this week, which granted is barely 2 days in, is that this is the week in which the sports world has decided we're coming back. That this whole talk of, well, it may be canceled, no. Those that have already canceled have canceled. But those that have just postponed have decided this week that they are, in fact, coming back. Now, 3 weeks down the road, they may go, oops, and cancel. But right now, it's full steam ahead. And to me, Mark, if you're just from a sports standpoint, what is most encouraging is that there are 6 university presidents who have gone on the record in the last 4 days that they are opening up and bringing students on campus come next semester. Well, we've always said if there are kids on campus, we'll have college sports. If there are no kids on campus, we're not going to have college sports, which would not only be the college football season put off to December at the earliest, if not 2021, but it also means you're not starting the college basketball season the second week in November either. So the college sports scene would have been a complete jambalaya heading into the 2021 calendar year. Now, Mark, it certainly seems as if the major universities are deciding, maybe not 100% of them, but 90% of them are going to decide we're having kids on campus. Therefore, we will be playing sports. Therefore, everyone's going to be playing sports, because we've always said the college sports world was going to be the most tenuous place. We thought pro sports would push forward. We were worried about college. It seems as if the college sports world is planning to push forward in and around Labor Day.
One of the things I've been talking about more than anything else that's a non-sports item is just how tough I think it's been on the high school senior and what they've missed out on. Graduation, prom, their basketball season's getting canceled, their baseball season's not happening, their softball season's not happening, all of those things. And I read a story yesterday that talked about a lot of these kids perhaps wanting to take the fall off and not go right to college. Also saw an article in the Atlantic yesterday, and I started reading. I didn't get through the whole thing. It's a long article. Yeah, it's tough to fit that in between the 3D objects and the 5 senses lessons that I was going through.
So in other words, your daughter gets the assignments done too quickly. You can't fit in the article from the Atlantic.
When the video's going on and I'm trying to read, if I can't get it done in 4 minutes, I'm screwed.
Damn smart kids.
Right.
I mean, you and I, back when we were 6, parents would have had plenty of time to
First
read that.
off, kindergarten I finger painted. I mean, draw inside the lines. She's doing sentences and she's reading and doing, like, she reads 4 books a week. It's way...
Which is so funny, because when she gets to about 15 years of age, she's going to stop talking to everyone. It's just going to be all technology. So I do find it fascinating that between the ages of 5 and 8, they're so much more communicative, and then they're going to stop communicating verbally.
So the article that I read yesterday was about, parents. How comfortable are they going to be sending their children off to college?
Absolutely.
And it's a non-sports thing, but it also has a lot to do with the sports thing. If these campuses open, will there be any sort of backlash in certain communities going, you're comfortable in New York, at Rutgers.
Right.
It's a Big Ten, I'm not talking about some small school that doesn't matter in the sports world, but Rutgers.
Right.
I'll ask Seth today when we have him on the show. Seth, I know your kids are not college age, but if they were, and they were attending Rutgers, they were a freshman at Rutgers. Do you know anybody that's going to be a freshman at Rutgers? And what are they thinking right now?
Well, and what do you do if you're the Big Ten and you've got 13 schools in which everyone's comfortable, and you got the president of Rutgers going, we can't have kids on campus. I don't know what to tell you. We can't play football. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. We got to take this year off. I mean, you could see, you
totally,
could see,
David.
You've got the California schools, and you got the rest of the Pac-12 that are full steam ahead. And, my guess is the negotiations here between the university presidents and the governor are going to get interesting. I mean, the governor and the Lakers and Clippers are already negotiating right now because those guys want to go start working out. They know they're going to have a season coming up here in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Are we going to have to go to Vegas? Or are we all going to have to leave your state to go work out? I mean, will Rutgers have to play elsewhere? I mean, in all honesty, could it possibly be where a major university doesn't have kids on campus, but they have to play their fall sports because of their conference commitment, so those kids go elsewhere? The Rutgers students are at Penn State so that they can play?
This is the part of this that I think will be fascinating over the course of the next few months. But that's, to me, where it crosses, where we've got kids on campus, parents not sure they want to send them back to campus, and what if one of the campuses says we can't open?
Sorry, can't do it. Okay, we understand. We're going to have to work around you, though, just so you know. And then we may not be sending you your check, too.
Well,
I mean, if
David,
you're sitting the year out, we may divide this money up by 13 and not 14, just so you know.
Not just sending out the check. I wonder if it would ever constitute a reason to get rid of someone in a conference.
Boy, that'd be tough.
That'd
be tough to argue that, because that'd go to court. That would go to court. Let me get this straight. You're kicking us out because we got hit hardest by a worldwide pandemic. I just want to make sure you're on the record. On the a-hole scale of 1 to 10, this makes you about 137, right? Okay, I just want to know.
Yep, and if it got Rutgers out of the Big Ten, it would be worth it. Miller and Moulton. I would be able to die on that hill if I were the commissioner of the Big Ten, David.
I think most of the Big Ten would, too.
I'm telling you right now.
Be uncomfortable arguing it, but you'd have no problem being the jury, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Miller and Moulton. Back in the saddle again. Yes, as a texter said, I may have to get David a frozen Oreo. It may be in the works. On Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com. And you are looking at a very unusual show live on Twitch and YouTube.
Our sound is a sound that makes you
Julie
stop.
texts me.
Stop.
You not sure. Do you have a guest room?
It's a collective voice
I
that
said,
calls out to you,
yeah,
the
but
fans.
Mom's coming Saturday
lot
for
of zany
Maddie's
people
birthday.
that call
Okay,
in.
I'll call the Crown Plaza.
It's our sound.
We're dealing with sick people here.
They're just absolutely nuts.
Crazy stuff happens. That's all I'm saying.
And you can only get it here on Fox Sports Radio.
Guys, the physicians and staff at Center for Men's Health
What I need
want
you to do when you go home.
C4MH.com is open and will remain open through this
Right here.
entire ordeal.
Unmute this arrow.
C4MH.com has taken a multitude of steps to make their offices the safest places they can be. And
Right
here's
here,
a few
David.
examples
Click the arrow
that make
above.
that statement a
On the
fact.
right of the mute.
C4MH.com
Says
treats all
select a
offices
speaker.
with Microband
Make sure
24,
you've got the
most
right speaker
advanced
select. My
antivirus
guess is you
disinfectant
don't.
available today. And unlike
You
any
can call
other
me and I'll walk you
disinfectant,
through it.
Microband 24 kills viruses for 24 hours after application, touch after touch. The staff wears level 1 procedure masks, and you can have one too. They monitor their temperatures, and soon they'll do the same for you when you walk in the door. All pens and clipboards are antimicrobial, and when you walk in, you will use hand sanitizer. C4MH.com prepared for this early so that both their staff and patients
This is the
remain
best David
safe.
has looked in a
Safe
while.
is the way
He
it's
isn't
always
using the
been at
1995
C4MH.com,
Gateway
and I
webcam
know
anymore.
because I'm a patient there too.
These are extraordinary times. And all over Southwest
Look, I
Florida,
tell you,
people
mark
just
out the
like
good
you
camera.
are making an extraordinary difference for neighbors,
The studio's got
friends,
the professional
even
camera.
total strangers. Sometimes the most extraordinary things are simple, like ordering meals to support a locally owned restaurant, saying thank you to those on the front line. We're all in this together, and together we are Gulf Shore Strong. From your neighbors at Wink.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. LED color-changing
No, or
pool
my
lights
friend's
can
gonna
create
tell
an
him.
after-dark
Right.
backyard oasis.
Say it'll
Pick
be
your
the first
color
day I
or
see him.
select one of the light shows.
He's gonna
You
walk
can
up
see
to
how
me.
dramatic it really is
Hey,
on
Mark.
our website. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the
I'd
Pool
rather not.
Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in when you can deal directly with a
duct tape
local,
for those?
family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors? My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdor.com.
Wake up with Miller and Moulton weekdays at 6 a.m.
This is Brian Creel here with my son Trace from Creel Tractor Company. We are open for business and taking all precautions necessary. We have teamed up with Kubota Tractor offering curbside pickup for your parts and parts delivery. And the service department is open and ready to assist with any repairs here or at your location. Kubota is offering discounts on parts for all your Kubota products and no payments for 90 days on new products. Creel Tractor. Dig up a great deal at Creel.
Right now, get 0% financing and no payments for 90 days. Offer expires May 31st. Visit KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Creel Tractor since 1972.
No matter where you're boating. With Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new membership pricing starts as low as $99. Call 239-945-1664 for more information. Or visit towboatuskapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Funniest thing that's ever been typed in the history. He has no idea how funny that is.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have no idea how funny that line is about the mileage.
10 miles each way. Write it off on my taxes every day I come to the studio.
Right, but the thing of writing it off with Fox,
yeah.
David won't let me, but when we get paid for this past month, I may show people what we make.
No.
Start here at
No,
2020
can't do that.
census.gov.
But when we know that the second act is ending, we're going to let everybody know how things have gone.
Which could be when that paycheck comes in.
Right. Could be next week.
It's Miller and Moulton.
Enjoy these shows.
Your life.
Seven minutes before 7 o'clock. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com. And, well, you are looking live at Miller and Moulton on Twitch and YouTube. You know what we have found out this week? Money is what it's all about.
We're just finding that out now?
No, but we're really finding out. If you were wondering whether or not it's all about the money, I mean, if you think about it, for 100 years now, we have been able to say, show me the money, follow the money. Now, Mark, we have put worldwide pandemic in one column, the money in another.
All right. This is not enough time to have this discussion.
Oh,
we're coming up on break.
Well, we've got Bill Bender's not till 8 o'clock.
I know, but worldwide pandemic, and you're right, and it's horrible, and people have died. But you know what? I'm just going to say, yeah, you're right.
I'm just talking from a sports standpoint, not society at large. I'm only thinking sports. This is a sports show. We haven't gone down the discussing the politics and what have you. I'm just saying from a sports standpoint, all right, the big decision. We knew the pro leagues were going to do everything that they could to play. Pro sports is about two things and two things only: money and winning. That's it. It's not above anything else. College athletics is a completely different deal. Completely different. And this is the week, the last 4 or 5 business days. I mean, the president of Oregon, Purdue, Brown University.
Well, I think of all of those, David, I think Oregon far and away is the most significant because Oregon is a public university. And I think, the Browns of the world, that's great. But they're private schools. They're just like Liberty. They can do whatever the hell they want. There's nothing stopping them.
I know, but Brown's pretty liberal also. I mean, you've got conservative schools and liberal schools. I mean, Brown is Ivy League. It's in the Northeast.
Yeah, you've got conservative schools. Liberty.
Yes.
There's one.
Exactly. You got Brown, you got Liberty. We can fit most everyone else in between. And Oregon and Brown, who, one private, one public, but both on one end of the spectrum, if you will. And they're like, we got kids on campus in August. And now, if you don't want to come, that's up to you. But we're going to be open. And that means we're going to be playing sports.
And all I was going to say is that actually, from a data standpoint, you can see why the colleges can open. This has not affected young people the way that it's affected people that of an older group. That's why I said this is just factual. These are numbers. This isn't really opinions anymore. There's enough data out there that says we can send the kids back to campus. But there's enough fear and the way this has been perpetrated throughout that I get parents not wanting to send their kids to a college campus. I totally get it.
Well, it goes back to the poll question about a month ago. Okay, when the time comes that we open up and we play sports, will you go?
Hey, yesterday we put a poll question out, and we'll get one here during the break. We've had something going on the first hour. But when the beach is open, are you going? More than half of the people said they were not. By the time noon came, this wasn't a poll question in the future. It was a poll question for tomorrow, essentially.
Because the beaches had been open.
Yeah, by that point, by the time this poll question still had 18 hours left, and this was a, am I going to the beach tomorrow question, actually. If I did have a tea time, I'd be there at 10.
Well, you have said from the beginning.
Taking the daughter tomorrow. That's our PE.
On the beach?
Yep, PE and science. We'll grab a shell or two. We'll go for a walk. We'll call it a day.
I was going to say.
Golden Apple. This sucker is locked. Miller and Moulton. Bill Bender. Coming up at 8 o'clock on Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports. Gotta go to Galliana.
Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati of Fort Myers are taking every precaution to keep you and your family safe with dealer-to-door delivery. Plus, we're making deals we've never made before on over 1,500 new and pre-owned vehicles. Sleek, sophisticated Kia Forte lease, 0 down, $149 per month. Yes, a new Kia for 0 down, $149 per month. Loaded, luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited lease, 0 down, $269 per month. That's right, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, 0 down, $269 per month. Plus, Galliana gives you interest-free financing up to 84 months, no payments for up to 120 days, and prepaid gas for a year. Our parts, service, and body shop are open to serve you at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati.
I don't know what the answer is.
Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
40,000 in the real rush. It has a lot of
42-month lease on Jeep,
How many
36 months Kia,
students
10,000
die?
miles per year, 0 due at signing, plus first
Per
month tax,
year?
tag, title, doc, and dealer fee, 0 security deposit with lender approval.
Hey, it's Mark
ODs,
Miller.
car
Southwest
accidents,
Florida's
natural
Fox
causes,
Invites
whatever.
you to be one of the 30 to say thank
Like, I don't know.
Healthcare heroes on the front
I
lines
guarantee
of
you-
the coronavirus pandemic.
I guarantee
Weekday
you
mornings
Michigan
starting
State
at 8. Be one of
between
the 30
10 and
to say
100
thank
die every
and buy a lunchbox special from one of our participating restaurants. We'll give you the phone number. You'll help Southwest Florida say thank you. Fox Sports Radio's 30 Say Thanks, delivering at least 30 lunches to healthcare heroes in our community. We're all in this together, Southwest Florida. We are Gulf Shore Strong.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google ERM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 103.3 Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
Poll question.
Could ask people a month later if they'd go.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
I don't think we're going to have fans. I think we will college, though. That's the thing.
heck are you?
Well, and I don't know. I was just kind of,
That's
because you
it.
kind of threw me here with this. I
Miller,
didn't know
This
where
could
to
end
go.
the
So
bro
I
hug.
just
That
kind
would
of
be
started
great
things
for you
breaking
because
down.
there is
I'm still
nobody
trying to
worse
figure out what the
at
bar
the
is.
bro hug than one David Moulton.
What's the social
Moulton.
distance
I used
bar?
to be. 2019, I found my bro.
How long are we social distance?
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Oh, I like
It's up to you now.
Right.
It's up to you.
I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Couple minutes past 7 o'clock on this hump day. It's our daughter's birthday, you know.
It is?
23 today.
Outstanding. Mine will be 6 on Saturday.
I know.
So happy birthday to yours.
And right back at you. 479-5551 is the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line, 479-5551. And we sense that not just because of what Governor DeSantis has done here in the last 24 hours and what local officials have done as well, but we sense that this is the week that the sports world is also deciding, you know what, we're going to press forward. Not all sports, but we're going to press forward. NASCAR has followed golf's lead. We figured weeks ago, we thought it would be golf and NASCAR. We didn't know which would be first, and right now NASCAR has decided to get ahead of golf because golf's not starting till mid-June, and NASCAR has decided for sure the Coca-Cola 600, but are they definitely doing the week before?
Well, what I read yesterday is they were looking at Darlington on May 17th because remember, they had a better chance of having a race in South Carolina, who did not have, as a state, the same type of issues that North Carolina did. Difference in who's elected governor. I mean, get a Republican in South Carolina and a Democrat in North Carolina. North Carolina's shut down. South Carolina's not. So I think they went Darlington first, but the governor of North Carolina has granted permission for the race. Everything I had read up until yesterday was all set on Charlotte, the 600 being the first race. And when I read Darlington, I went, that's new. That hadn't been there. And that I thought that was kind of cool that they're redoing it at an old school track.
Charlotte makes a lot of sense because they're all based nearby, and so, you know, why don't we just start there and then branch out from there?
But they're maybe 2 hours from Darlington.
Oh, I know. And let's face it, they're chomping at the bit, all of them, to race. So why not? Two very different tracks, though. Two very different tracks. It would be great to start in Darlington because that is very old school. That's NASCAR's roots right there.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I thought, like, for these midweek races, if they're actually doing this, hey, NASCAR's got a window right now. And I think whatever comes out first will enjoy some great success. Don't expect it to last long term. Because a year from now, if we go back to the normal life that we're in, we may not watch the things we were watching. But as I go back to the Blue Puck on Fox many, many years ago, if it brought in one more fan, it worked. Because no diehard leaves its sport.
Right.
The NASCAR guy's not leaving NASCAR because we're racing 3 times in 8 days now. Not happening.
I would actually think the diehard would like it.
Oh, I know they would. But if it brings in one more guy, then it worked. And there are so many great tracks that are within 2.5 hours of Charlotte, where they're headquartered. Between Martinsville and Darlington and Richmond and all of these tracks in that tobacco belt, if you will, I think the midweek races could be something that really works for them and their network partners.
Now, I know that the North Carolina governor gave the okay for the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte without fans. Any word about Darlington as to whether or not? Because this is going to get, and we have done a very good job of staying in our lane, no pun intended, and staying sports. But I think now we're getting to the point where it's not that sports is also becoming a political discussion, but I do think that now sports is going to reflect a societal discussion that we're going to have. And I don't think we're going to reach consensus on at all. In fact, I don't even know if we're going to get a majority. I think we're going to be very divided as to how it is we're all going to behave going forward. Like you threw out there last hour. If you are the parent of a soon-to-graduate high school senior, how comfortable are you sending your son and daughter off to college in the fall semester of 2020, or are you just going to play it safe and maybe do your first semester or first 2 semesters, or just take a gap year? You're going to put school off for a year and you're going to go to work and save money, or whatever the case may be.
Or you're going to be able to have that 6 months that you didn't get this summer. And, you know, I mean, that's the other side of it. That's the part. And I guess, for some kids, they did. I was lucky enough that this was a 6-month party before you went to school. Yeah, you worked, but my goodness, was this fun.
Sure.
And I think some of them, when they got the last 3 months of school upended on them, and now, just like summer jobs. I mean, there's a whole other societal thing. Summer internships. All these, as Seth pointed out on our show last week, all these kids that were graduating college that had life plans.
Right. In which those plans no longer exist.
At all, in some cases. So it is that cross with these young people. And as someone pointed out on our Twitch page, it's not that, as I mentioned, the dad is there for the young people. It's not that they get sick. It's that they spread it. I know. I understand that. But I ask that person and all of you, text in, and I'm not trying to be flippant, but at what point? I mean, how long do you wait?
Well,
and you may not be as comfortable as I am, and David may be more comfortable than I am going out, even though I know he's not. But at what point? And it's an impossible question, because every single person is going to have a dramatically different answer.
And they're entitled to it also. I mean, after all, it is your life.
Right.
You are entitled to behave in the next however many months the way you behave. I think we all have to be understanding of that also.
There is a very good post on social media that kind of goes through that. Hey, some people are going to wear masks. Don't treat them uncomfortably. Some people are going to want to go back to work. And it just kind of goes through the, hey, we're all going to just don't, right now is not the right time to be judging others for their decisions.
Right.
It's time to be comfortable in what your decision is.
And we're all hoping for the best. And we're all hoping to do the right thing. I mean, think of if you're a college, and I didn't feel this way 2 weeks ago. I mean, this is something that I think I'm evolving into. And I could make the same argument with, you and I during commercial breaks have talked about, what do you do if you're a sports bar? I mean, we know restaurants in particular, we'll do every other booth. Well, they can't make a go of it if they're only going to be allowed to have 25 to 50% capacity. In some ways, they could argue they're better off with the doors closed.
Well, just a little thing, because I know a little bit about this. In Florida, where we live, in order to have a liquor license and sell booze, you have to have 150 seats, and you have to sell 51% food. Now, that's the little game that these restaurants all play, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, ring in the draft beer as a French fry. But the fact of the matter is, if you take a lot of these places that have used every inch of their place to get to the 150 and tell them that they have to move 6 feet apart, they no longer can sell booze legally. Do you think they make money selling liquor? So your favorite place that you go watch games at on Saturday or Sunday, think about that for a second. The Buffalo Wild Wings of the world, my friends at Jack's, Beef O'Brady's. I'm just trying to think of places. I'm not trying to, go sponsor related, but these smaller places that have booze. Not anymore.
Well, and think about the stands. I mean, if you want to go 6 feet apart, like you joked, you got out the measuring stick and we were, 5 feet 4 inches at one point. But seats are what, about 18, 20 inches wide?
Depending, Michigan Stadium, probably 18 inches, 17 inches. Little newer stadium might get to 21. But yeah, you're in the ballpark, David.
So in reality, if you're trying to say 6 feet apart, that would be seats 1 and 5.
Right. But if you're with your wife, does that mean 1 and 2? And that
no, and that's just it.
Right.
So you and I go to a game. Are we going to have to sit seats 1 and 5?
Or does my family sit 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got to go to 10?
And then also, what do we do with the row behind you?
Thank you.
Like, are they allowed to be in,
two rows back?
If you and I are sitting in seats 1 and 4, is somebody behind us allowed to sit in seat 2 or 3? And so I'm wondering, can we do social distancing with sports?
No.
Or is it going to just have to be one or the other?
No.
Empty, or we let them in?
I think you have to let them in. Now, JetBlue, and I'm crossing over a little bit, but here are the real life decisions that Craig Brush is going to have to make if the Everblades are going to play hockey. If JetBlue just said, at least in the first month, you got to wear a mask. If
Right.
you're on any of our flights, you got to wear a mask. Period. End of sentence.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the stadium. Oh, okay. You're talking about the airline.
Airline.
Good. Got it.
Yeah, they're not going to have any games. Not until next March.
Right.
So you go fly JetBlue to Boston, you got to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
They've made it mandatory. I think that's smart. Takes away any confusion. Safety of the people that are flying the plane, that I'm not going to get it from someone not wearing a mask. I actually think that that's a reasonably smart decision. Going to look pretty funny at the game when we're all wearing masks. I will say that. It's really hard to yell, hey, batter, batter, swing, batter with the mask on. But it can be done. It's just going to be muffled.
True. But I think that's what's going to happen.
I do too.
I think that, let's face it, they're going to want the money. They're going to want the spectators. And then they're going to say, but you have to wear the mask.
Now, if we have an antibody test and, we have we wear the scarlet letter C that you've had COVID-19, do we sit in odd numbered sections together or even numbered sections?
479-5551, 479-5551. But if you're a university and you've opened up your campus to students, now give me the reasoning as to why it is you're not going to open up your stadium. Because first off, we don't have social distancing on the field. First off, in between the white lines, at the line of scrimmage, we don't have social distancing. But also
tough to tackle without social distancing.
Well, it is. It is. Now, don't get me wrong.
Dion played
there were on a running play, yes. Dion social distance. Not all the time.
No,
okay?
but
he picked his spots. But in all seriousness, for a second, though, we don't have social distancing on the sidelines. I mean, each team dresses 100-plus guys.
Right. They all run out together. I mean, would be interesting to see that Vol entrance at 6 foot apart.
Boy, it'd be very haphazard.
It would take a long time.
It really would. It'd be wide. It'd be wide. Okay, in rows of two. Just, man, this is going to take a while. Tell CBS to go to commercial.
I am looking at the World Series introductions right now, or all-star introductions. Instead of between first and third, they're all the way around the field. I mean,
we could just about, if we social distance it, go from home plate to the foul pole. If we're doing, 300-something feet,
right.
30, we can keep them 10 or so
Sorry,
feet apart.
I can't help it. I'm trying to be serious, but I can't help it.
No, but I don't know that you can do sports with 25% fans, 40% fans. The South Dakota dirt track, they were playing by the CDC rules. They seat 4,000.
Right.
They sold 700 tickets, period. They're like, we are going to make sure that we, as 8-10 feet apart, there's going to be nobody. We're not accepting cash for any concessions. By the way, we're not selling tickets at the door. They've all been pre-sold. We are limiting contact as much as possible. But if you're a university president, you're an AD, if you're going to do this, aren't you going to do it? I don't see the halfway measure.
Well,
I see all or nothing.
Right. And here's the other thing. And I'll say this specifically with colleges because we know there are older fans at all sports. But collegiately, it is where you go back home. A big portion of what Saturdays are about are people from 16 to 65 going back home, if you will, to campus.
Right.
I mean, it's a much older sports audience than pro games.
I'll give you that. Yeah. Yeah, and the older folk they've stayed in town, they've made it their home. That's where they live.
Or they drive to Happy Valley or Gainesville or Athens or wherever on a Saturday, and they've been doing it for generations. And it's where the whole family, whether it's Michigan State with me as a kid or whether it's Georgia with my son and his family, there's 3 generations at every damn game and has been forever. That's what they do. And so how comfortable is that older generation showing up on campus? And do you really want them there with all these students?
But once again, see what I would do, or where I'm thinking I'm going with this, is like if there's a student that has been accepted, but they're not comfortable coming on campus this year, as a school, I'd be like, we're fine with that. If you want to take the year off, we'll hold your spot. But if you want to do it online, we're fine with that. And we're not going to penalize you, and we'll work with you in the whole deal. The same, by the way, with season ticket holders, where if you go, listen, I'm not comfortable going to the games this year, but I don't want to lose. And also, we've been hit hard financially, but I don't necessarily want to lose my place in line. I've had these club seats and what have you. I would be like, we'll work with you.
You would. I know you would, David. And that right there, of all the things that you brought up, to me, that's a hell of a question. Because, David, these seats just don't cost money. The right to buy the seat costs money
Personal
at all
seat
of these.
licenses.
Well, but personal seat license, or just at a college, a donation's required.
Well, yeah, they don't call it a personal
but
seat
it
license, but you have to make a $5,000 donation to buy those 4 seats.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Because a personal seat license you just have to do once. In college, you got to renew that sucker every year. So here we are. I mean, David, this is a hell of a question. We're in financial difficulty as a country right now. We're in a recession, no matter whether we want to be or not. Who knows? Maybe we spit out of this in a hurry. I don't know. No one does. But the facts that you just gave are true. People don't have as much money. But yet, if I have the money, I'm a college, and you can't afford your club seats and can't give your donation, but I want to buy 4 extra. I haven't heard of too many colleges turning down that money. And David, I think what you're saying should be true, and I think every campus will be different when it comes to that. But boy, oh boy, they just decided, David, that money's more important than anything else. And you're suggesting them to peel back on that, and I don't know if they will.
I'm just
Should
saying,
they?
I'm just saying that, listen, you've got 4 seats, I got 4 seats, all right? You're doing okay, all right? And, in fact, you find out that, my 4 seats, I'm probably not going to be able to buy them this year or what have you, but the university is going to hold them for me for a year. But you say, hey, I'll buy them for the year. Well, I'd let you buy them. I mean, I want the cash from the university. I'll let you buy them. But I'm not going to put you down as if you have 8 seats heading into 2021. That's what I'm saying. We go back to 4 and 4. It's up to Mr. Moulton here. Okay, it's been a year. You comfortable going next year? Do you have the money to go next year? If not, those seats come up. We're going to sell them away.
And I'd be looking at the alumni person going, so I just gave $20,000 extra dollars, and now that's no good to you? Okay.
But I would let you know when you're buying them. I would say, listen, those 4 seats are available this year because of the circumstances. All right, they may not be available next year. You may have to go back to 4.
I got you. These are real life questions that are going to have to go on these campuses. We have just talked about, hey, can the kids come back? And if the kids can't come back, you can't play. Well, there are a lot of other factors into the business of college athletics that are going to have some hard decisions that are going to have to be made in the coming months.
Because we've been talking about the money for a while now, and this is no small matter. I mean, these home football games are $5 to $8 million days for these schools, and if they're going to have those days, they're going to want to make as much money as possible those days. And that's why, Mark, couldn't you, from a legal standpoint, doesn't it seem logical? Because let's face it, the reason we thought, and it may still happen, that the universities were going to stay closed were the fear of lawsuits. Something happens to one of the kids, they get sick. Something happens to people in the stands, and they get sued. And we thought that the universities would stay closed because of the fear of being sued. I mean, when you get right down to it, they'd come out and talk about public safety and what have you. At the end of the day, that the universities would stay closed because they're afraid they're going to get sued. Because the odds are someone's going to get sick and they're going to come after us. Don't you think the university, their legal people, couldn't you conclude, hey, we're not making the kids come to school. We're offering them online classes. We'll hold their spot. They can stay home for a year. We're not making anybody buy a ticket. You don't want to buy a ticket, especially if you say we'll hold your seat for a year. You're not going to lose your seat. If you can't, or if you don't want to, we'll hold it for you. We'll sell it off in the meantime for a 1-year deal, but you can get them back next year. I mean, if the universities take that approach, don't you think that then protects them from what is their ultimate fear game, getting sued?
It's a start. It's a start. I mean, David, look, it has nothing to do with sports, but one kid at one dorm comes down with the coronavirus. What happens? I don't know. I mean, it's a simple, open-ended, no-answer question right there. But to me, I don't know. First off, does it protect you a bit? Would someone find a reason to sue otherwise? Of course, they always do. I don't know the answer to that. I think it's a start. I think that, as you said, it looks as if sports is going forward. My biggest fear is not the lawsuit stuff. Those are going to happen. I can't avoid what reality is in this world or the one going forward.
Well, I don't mean getting sued. I mean losing. They know they're going to get sued. I just think that they're going to put things in place to ensure that they win.
And I don't know if they've put enough in there. I think that all will be tested is if we let everything open. I mean, the one question we don't know, if we let everything open and we were wrong,
and people start to get sick again,
then we're screwed.
And we said
this. I mean, then 2020 is shot.
Well, and we said this 4 weeks ago. We said pro sports has to answer this question before they can go forward. What do we do when someone tests positive? That has to be the question they have to answer. I think everything else can be figured out. On the fly, I actually think everything else can be figured out. That is the question that has to be answered before you can move forward. What do we do when someone tests positive? We just quarantining him? We shutting down? We quarantine everybody? What are we doing? That is the question. Because like you said, some kid on campus is going to get it.
There's no doubt.
Some kid on the team is going to get it. So what is it you guys decided before you brought everybody back on campus? Because that's now what we have to do.
And I keep saying this, but the proud member of the ASUN, I'd really like to know what's going on at Liberty University. They're never going to tell any of us.
Well, they're being sued. We do know that. So maybe we'll find out a couple of years from now what actually went on here in the last month and a half.
To me, the test case is sitting right there in Lynchburg, Virginia. We've got it right in front of us.
They brought him back to campus, over a month ago?
Yeah. I mean, all of our answers to me are right there. That is where I want the scientists. That is where I want people, because they are doing this for us, and we're not paying attention.
Well, they're doing it for them.
Well,
we have a chance to turn it into, hey, thanks, appreciate it. Miller and Moulton. 479-5551, 479-5551. That is how you can chime into the show, by calling or texting in on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Bill Bender to talk about all that's going on in college athletics at the top of the hour. Seth Everett 1 hour from now here on Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I feel like Tom right now feels supported. All the boxes are being checked that weren't checked in Tampa, including, I bet you, Jason Light, the general manager, talked to Tom. They had an hour phone call and said, listen, we need a right tackle. That's going to be our first pick. You think Belichick's telling Tom what his first pick's going to be? No.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor. The Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Your old pool pump is an energy hog and likely your second greatest user of electricity. We'll install a new Pentair energy-efficient pump, saving you over $500 a year. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Attention all Southwest Florida Nissan owners. How does a free sanitization treatment for your Nissan sound? Come see us here at Naples Nissan and consider it done. That's right, regardless of when or where you bought your Nissan, we're going to treat it with our Transform Automotive Sanitizer for free. And let me tell you, this Transform product we've got here, it's some good stuff. And nasty germs, bacteria, or viruses lurking in your Nissan, including E. coli staph and, you guessed it, coronavirus, yeah, they don't stand a chance after we blast them with this stuff. Hey, it's like getting a free flu shot for your car. Due to high demand, we can only offer this service free of charge for Nissan owners at this time. But again, it doesn't matter when or where you purchased it from. Look for the orange tent in our service drive at Naples Nissan on Pine Ridge Road or visit naplesnissan.com for more details.
Dial star 2020. Friends, I care.
When it comes to cataract surgery, the lens you choose matters. And Dr. Jonathan France and the caring team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you navigate your vision challenges with an intelligent solution, the PanOptix intraocular lens. Dr. France, proud to not only be the first in Southwest Florida to bring you the breakthrough technology of the trifocal solution, he's also the #1 PanOptix surgeon in the state of Florida. PanOptix, specially designed to help patients see 20/20 at distances that are near, far, and even in between. Experience the freedom of living without glasses for distance driving, computers, and reading. With PanOptix, you'll experience a clear advantage that you didn't know was possible. See your future in 2020. Find out if you are a candidate for PanOptix today by dialing ** 2020 from your cell phone or call 239-418-0999.
Friends, I care.
I'm a busy person. Catch the show anytime. Check out MillerandMoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
We've got our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. We're talking about their huge selection and great pricing on Core-Tec flooring. Tim, tell us what's new at the store.
Right now we have 90 colors of Core-Tec in stock, ready to go, pick up, put down as soon as you want it. Everything from starting at $299 on up with lifetime warranty.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood. Look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com.
I got you one, too.
That's floormeisters.com.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure
Wanted to
brand
see how long
and then
before
try
you
and
noticed.
find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in?
Yeah, I know.
When you can deal directly with a local,
I know.
family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors. My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdor.com.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Halfway home on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton Twitch and YouTube channels. Had a little technical snafu back at my place, so for today anyway, we are 6 feet apart at the opposite ends of our table in our studio in the cozy confines. Been 6 weeks.
I know.
March 18th, last time we did a show from these studios.
I thought it was the last time. When you left, the way things have gone,
It was literally 6 weeks ago today. It was the last time we did a show like this.
I thought there was a better chance of us never doing a show side by side again than there was. Put it this way, if you didn't have technical difficulties today and would have talked 10 minutes earlier and I would have walked you through this like I will at 10 o'clock when you get home, yeah, that was a shot. In case anybody was wondering, it was a direct shot. But, I was pretty certain that we'd never do a show next to one another again, unless it was somehow a remote out in public somewhere.
Why is that?
Why would you drive over here if you didn't have to?
Because the show is better.
I think we've gotten to the point where it's fine without.
I said it's fine.
I mean, now that we see each other.
But it's better. We communicate better. We can read one another, a little bit better sitting next to one another. We step on one another a couple of times a day remotely, even though we're staring at one another in a screen. We very rarely do it when we're sitting next to one another.
No, it's a lot more likely that I'll just be blank because I'm reading something on the computer when you're in the midst of a long-winded answer.
Right. I know for sure that you're zoning out when I'm sitting next to you. It's in doubt when I'm looking at the screen because you could be zoning out. You could be reading something on Twitch. You could be reading the text line. You could be looking something up. I could be thinking, wow, Mark is really digging. He is grinding this show. Look at him. Every morsel of information. No, actually, he's reading an article and he's just totally zoned out. I know that sitting next to you.
And when we're apart, I have done that very little. I have really been involved in the show, and I think it's given me a little bit more voice time, and maybe that's why we should. That's why he wants to come back. I think I'm stepping on him a little bit too much.
No, something happened yesterday. I another job. There was, some sort of conference call, and I clicked on a link, and everything worked fine. It's a little odd to be watching a conference call and listening to it in the headsets, and then for whatever reason, at 5:54 this morning, I couldn't hear you. Yeah. Couldn't hear Giro. Couldn't hear the station. Nothing.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, it'll probably take a minute and a half.
If that.
And that is the shot. I got up. I walked into the living room. My wife's taking a nap, and she's like, "What's going on?" I go, "I got to go to Mark's house." And she kind of panics for a little bit, and I go, "Yeah, honey, this is me. I can't fix anything. All right? When I turn it on, if it don't work, we got issues."
You got that right.
I can't. I'm that guy. I can't fix it.
I tried very hard on the air to say David's having some technological. I said we're having some technological issues, and David's unable to hear. I'm assuming that it's on David's end.
Yes, it's a very good assumption.
So, couple of texts that we got this morning. Wait, just a minute. Yearly donation on top of the ticket price? Are you bleeping kidding me?
Wait, you're just finding this out?
Yeah, wait. That's where I was going. And you understand that the yearly donation has a comma, and in some places, 2 numbers before the comma.
Yes. Oh, no. It's mandatory. Right? They call it a donation. All right? It's got very much a church feel to it. Yes. Absolutely.
This person says, haven't most college seats been purchased already? I know our UCF seats already. I don't know. I mean, UCF doesn't operate on the I would be, and I'm being serious when I ask this. I doubt you're having to give a donation to get UCF season tickets. If you are, let me know. I'm not trying to look. Anytime I say something, the UCF crowd gets all up in arms. But you've been around for 4 days, so I don't think you're the Floridas or the Alabamas where it's $5,000 to get a seat. Miami Miami can't do it because there's seats available.
But his point though is that by the shutdown happened in mid-March, and what this texter is intimating is that by mid-March, basically, you already had to purchase next year's football tickets. Now, I don't know. I don't own season tickets. I don't know if by then you are expected to have already paid for them. Not put a deposit back down to make sure that you still have them, but actually pay for them. I don't know.
Yeah, Gator, Noel. If we have any Bama or Georgia or some Michigan, Ohio State, let us know. Would love to hear if you're already on the hook or if you are supposed to write that check.
Yeah.
I happen to be a season ticket holder and it's nothing in comparison to this, but my mom and I split the Broadway package at the B. It's not cheap. That's not due for next year until May 31st. I've got another month
before
I have to stroke that check.
Right. I think Blade season tickets, by the way, The initial offering, if you want the 5 or 10% discount or whatever it is, I think you have to do season tickets by this Friday. I think you had to have it done by May 1st. So, and I don't know if they've extended that or not. I don't know if there are any, conditions because of what it is that we're going through. I don't. But it's usually right around May 1st.
It's not. No, actually, it isn't. They've already given their play. I mean, they're in the playoffs right now. You've already bought your playoff tickets.
Right.
And whatever you don't eat up in your playoff tickets is your deposit for next year. And if you don't buy playoff tickets, which some opt not to, they've put and I don't know what their deposit is. When I was there, it was $50. So they've put their deposit down to hold their seats. I don't think payments due for a while. I mean, that's how it typically goes. But this has thrown this into a totally different set of circumstances for them because they didn't make the playoffs.
At some point in time, we're going to bring Bob Arablo back from the former Miracle, now the Mighty Muscles, because they're not. I mean, and once again, they just went through new ownership, and they will have not. They're not going to play a game this year.
Well, and think about the Everblades. So, and I'm not saying that Pete Carmanos didn't have deep pockets, but everybody that knows anything knows that arena's been for sale for. I mean, I haven't worked there in 10 years. It's been for sale It's been for sale since before I was fired.
Wow.
And it never went off the market.
That was a long time ago.
Right. But think about, first off, that arena needed some work. The Hoffman Group came in, I don't want to say they saved the arena, but they came in, bought the arena, dumped some serious capital into the arena.
Right. And now have lost a good chunk of months of events.
Right.
Right.
And are losing more. I mean, the Chris Stapleton concert, I believe, was supposed to be in July. I know I have tickets for it. I know Ticketmaster hasn't refunded me for those tickets yet.
They still haven't refunded me for my Rangers-Panthers seats also, which were late March, because the game is
postponed.
All right. Right. It has not yet been canceled. And notice the word coming out of the NHL yesterday was that not only are we planning on ramping up at a similar time frame as the NBA and Major League Baseball, but we're planning on resuming the regular season. Which is interesting. Did you see what Steve Kerr said yesterday? And I don't blame him at all. The Warriors are bad. Warriors, in fact, could end up with the number 1 pick of the draft.
Right.
This could be their San Antonio Spurs.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Right, in which all of a sudden they were awful because Robinson got hurt, and they ended up with Tim Duncan, and then they were great for 20 years. But Steve Kerr said, we're planning on as if we're done. So, they're like, why would they make us come back and work out for 3 weeks to play our 10 to 14 games?
Look, they have to go to I think this would be the most ignorant move on both the NHL has at least the ability to have 10 teams and do some fun things in the first round of the playoffs because it's close.
Yes.
Basketball, we've mentioned this a million times. It's not close.
Big separation.
There is no need for the non-playoff teams to play. There just is not.
And
risk injury.
And I think Kerr's also implying, listen, if you want to take a look at the Western Conference, where you got 8 clear playoff teams, and you have a 3.5 game separation between the 8 seed, and I think it's a 3-way tie for 9, and then the 12th seed's a half a game back. So you got 4 teams within 4 games. Kerr's basically saying, okay, but why do 13, 14, and 15 have to play? I mean, why don't you just tell us to stay home? And quite frankly, you can look at the Eastern Conference, and you got 8 teams, and there's a 6-game lead by the Magic in the loss column over the Washington Wizards. 5.5 in the standings, 6 in the loss column, with about 13 or so to play. And you could basically make the argument, why are the other 7 teams in the Eastern Conference? So couldn't you keep 10 teams home, 3 in the West, 7 in the East, and you want to send 20 teams to Vegas to work out for a couple weeks to get ready for games? That's fine. Figure out a schedule, and then whoever the 8 are. But come on, why should the other 10 teams have to play?
It doesn't make any sense.
Especially if you're not selling tickets at home.
That's that. If you were selling tickets, then every owner would say, I'm sorry, go suit up and play. I got to make some money. I got a TV gate. And maybe they want TV money, but I don't see the regular season TV money being that significant for what's going to be a 3 or 4 game schedule. By the way, they're not playing 30 games.
No, I mean, even if they want to finish the regular season in its entirety, it's no more than a month's worth of games.
Which would be foolish.
I think so. Why waste that month, by the way?
Who would care? No, I mean, I know we may watch and bet in those things, but who would give a damn about regular season games, particularly regular season games with those teams we're talking about, those 10 teams that have zero shot at making the postseason?
Right. I don't think there's motivation for them to play. Never mind you get into the fact of you really going to let your star player play in what is clearly a meaningless game. What if they get hurt and they miss all of next year, too?
Speaking of which, since you mentioned Kerr, I love me some Draymond Green, but there is no person on this planet, including the guy in D.C., who needs to stay off Twitter and social media more than Draymond Green right now. Every time the man opens his mouth, he makes himself look dumber and dumber, and he's not a dumb man. I mean, he is hell-bent on his team being this great team. Go watch The Last Dance, go watch The Bad Boys, and Draymond, understand that you didn't change the game of basketball. You're a nice player. I really like you. You're from my hometown. You went to my university as well.
Yeah, he was trying to insinuate that he and Steph would beat like Shaq and Kobe because they would basically run Shaq into the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, now hold on a second. I think Kobe would do okay against Steph on both ends of the floor, which means it'd be you against Shaq. And yeah, I'm sure Shaq at times would, be tired of chasing you around and this, that, and the other thing. But you got nothing for him.
By the way,
he'd kill you.
You talking about Shaq at the end with the Lakers, or you talking about when he just got there? I mean, I'm just,
right. Because whatever your best year is versus his best year.
You're remembering Shaq at the end.
Right.
You're not remembering the guy that was in Orlando and the guy that could run the court like a deer.
Well, yeah.
Like a deer, David.
Right.
And he was 7-1 or whatever.
Right. You're thinking Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns Shaq,
yeah,
aren't you? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. We're talking 2000 Shaq.
Talk about Shaq.
Right. Right. Your best year against his best year. I don't like your chances.
Not at all.
No.
And Draymond, did I mention that I really, really like you?
John Sally was talking about it on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, in which he said that, David Stern, because he believes ultimately Stern picked the team, and that Stern was the reason that Isaiah was not on the team. John Sally believes it was not Michael. All right, that because the whole I'm not going to play on the dream team. Sally goes, "Are you serious? You really think Michael's not going to represent the United States in the Olympics?" Okay, because of Isaiah Thomas. He goes, "No." He goes, "But the NBA was ready to move on, and Daly was already the coach, and Dumars was on the team, right?" Or no, he was on the second one.
He was on the second one.
All right, but Daly was already the coach, and that David Stern thought that was enough, and he was ready to move on from the Bad Boys, and just wanted it to be Magic, Larry, Michael, that sort of deal. But he said, we chose Leitner, and he goes, "Hey, his college career was amazing, and I get it." He goes, "But they screwed up. They could have put Shaq on that team. They could have put Shaq on that team."
Yeah, that would have been.
And he said they probably should have.
The other thing, and I mentioned earlier, the other thing that Sally said that I thought was pretty cool, because Isaiah's trying to act like we would have done this differently, and Lambeer, I loved Lambeer. No, I did what I did. I never cared about what the media said then. I don't care about what the media, I don't live that way. But John Sally on the Rich Eisen show said, the fact that he still hates us, that he goes to bed at night and the Pistons are, I consider that a great compliment.
Absolutely.
And Sally's a unique thinker. I mentioned it before. There was a show on called Bong Appetit where basically the show is cook with weed and smoke weed for a half hour. He was one of the guests on that show. And I was like, wow, John's come out of his shell, but he's an interesting guy. Always has been. He's a smart guy. Georgia Tech kid.
And I didn't realize this, but Sally knew what was coming. Like he heard it being talked about on the bench, and he didn't want any part of it. And so he went to Chuck and said, "Put me back in." And Chuck goes, "Come on, John." And John said, No. I need to be on the court. And so if you look, Sally gets entered into the game when Dantley's shooting, or whoever. No, not Dantley, because he was gone by
McGuire.
Then. But is shooting the free throw or what have you. And so Sally checks back into the game with 7.9 to go. And Sally said, and I made it a point, and you could look at the tape, me and Scott Hastings and a few others, we went straight to Jordan. and then Pippen, and then Horace Grant, and then Phil. We went straight to them. We shook their hand, the whole deal. He goes, I knew it was coming, and I didn't want to be a part of it.
You can be a part of Today Was the Day When. That's next, plus Bill Bender, Seth Everett, and the good, better, and best, all still ahead. On Miller and Moulton, thank you so much for listening to Fox Sports Radio.
This is a special coronavirus update from
William Randolph Hearst, born today in
I'm Therese O'Shea with
1963,
Wink
started
News.
the San
Governor Ron
Francisco
DeSantis is
Examiner.
set to release recommendations on how to
1863.
reopen our
San Francisco
state
Examiner
today.
and the
He just
Seattle,
wrapped up a
what
trip
is it,
to the
the,
White House
what's
meeting
the-
with President Trump. Florida's safer
PI
open order
no,
ends tomorrow night.
Post-Intelligenter. Damn it.
And tomorrow.
I knew you'd
County
have that
beaches
one.
open
That's the
this
only reason I
morning with
brought it
all
up.
parking,
One of the
restrooms,
greatest-
and amenities. Collier County beaches open tomorrow at sunrise.
Times
Deputies
Picayune.
in both counties will be out patrolling to make sure you're social distancing. Sanibel, Marco Island, and Naples will meet today to discuss opening city beaches. Anyone ineligible for state unemployment benefits may still qualify for federal help. The DEO says if you applied on or before April 4th, you should reapply to request federal pandemic unemployment assistance. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News, facts, not fear.
Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati of Fort Myers are taking every precaution to keep you and your family safe with dealer-to-door delivery. Plus, we're making deals we've never made before on over 1,500 new and pre-owned vehicles. Sleek, sophisticated Kia Forte lease, 0 down, $149 per month. Yes, a new Kia for 0 down, $149 per month. Loaded, luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited lease, 0 down, $269 per month. That's right, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, 0 down, $269 per month. Plus, Galliana gives you interest-free financing up to 84 months, no payments for up to 120 days, and prepaid gas for a year. Our parts, service, and body shop are open to serve you at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Galliana Kia, and Alfa Romeo Maserati of Fort Myers. Call 239-481-2600, GallianaCars.com. 42-month lease on Jeep, 36 months Kia, 10,000 miles per year, 0 due at signing, plus first month tax, tag, title, dock, and dealer fee, 0 security deposit with lender approval.
Guys, the physicians and staff at Center for Men's Health want you to know that C4MH.com is open and will remain open through this entire ordeal. C4MH.com has taken a multitude of steps to make their offices the safest places they can be. And here's a few examples that make that statement a fact. C4MH.com treats all offices with Microban 24, the most advanced antivirus disinfectant available today. And unlike any other disinfectant, Microban 24 kills viruses for 24 hours after application, touch after touch. The staff wears level 1 procedure masks, and you can have one too. They monitor their temperatures, and soon they'll do the same for you when you walk in the door. All pens and clipboards are antimicrobial, and when you walk in, you will use hand sanitizer. C4MH.com prepared for this early so that both their staff and patients remain safe. Safe is the way it's always been at C4MH.com, and I know because I'm a patient there too.
94.1 Lehigh. We are Buckmore.
You own a home with a tile or shingle roof? You live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma. It's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us, 239-283-2013. It's a free, no-obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
A big part of enjoying a good bike ride are all the sights you see along the way.
So when David and I both developed cataracts, it didn't take long for us to do something about it.
Turns out some of the best cataract surgeons in the world are right here in our area at community eye centers.
We really care about improving people's lives by improving their vision.
Dr. Spalding and Dr. Spatafora really do care about helping people, and we're so glad they helped us.
They're excited. We share in that excitement. It makes us
feel great about what we do.
Yeah, you have a truck.
Hi, this is Dr. Scheibel from Community Eye Center. My partner, Dr. Statafor, and I want to remind everybody, don't be a spreader. The coronavirus is so tiny, 100 million particles fit on the head of a pin. As we run around in our trucks and cars and play golf and go fishing and go to work and do the things we like to do, we are spreading the virus. The virus can only move with us. Over 65, diabetes, COPD, all these folks will be hurt severely by this virus. Wash your hands, be careful, don't be a spreader.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Eight minutes before 8 o'clock, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Bill Bender of the Sporting News coming up in about 10 minutes. Seth Everett for his weekly appearance in about 35 minutes. Time now for
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When, Fox Sports Radio and foxsportsfm.com.
All right. We start today with a nice little factoid for you, David. 1892. Charlie Riley. Heard of him?
I don't think so.
Probably not. But today he would become baseball's first pinch hitter.
Charlie Riley?
Charlie Riley.
Sounds like a pinch hitter.
Bet he grounded out to second.
Yes. Took a first pitch strike and then rolled one over.
The first International Weightlifting Federation Championship was held today in 1922 in Estonia. The first pro baseball game was played in Japan today in 1936. 1961 on ABC, the debut of the Wild World of Sports today.
Awesome.
Thought you'd like that. 67, Respect was released by Aretha, who would be the Billboard Song of the Year. I think they made the right choice. Hair opens at the Biltmore today in 1968. For 1,750 performances. Did you ever see Hair on Broadway or anywhere else?
Not the original. Saw a remake and then saw it off Broadway.
Saigon fell today in the Vietnam War in 1975. 1980, the Detroit Lions select Billy Sims with the first pick of the draft. 1981, Steve Carlton becomes the first lefty to strike out 3,000. On that same day, George Rogers was selected as the first pick by the New Orleans Saints. 1986, Bo Jackson selected by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right, another one. Man, you think of the players they've drafted who did not perform for them and did it elsewhere.
2004, Oldsmobile builds its final car, ending 107 years of production. And in 2006, the Houston Texans, with their first pick, select Mario Williams, not Reggie Bush.
Nope.
And in 2018, The Simpsons had their 635th episode. It would surpass Gunsmoke as the longest running series. If you were born today, you share your birthday with the great Duke Ellington, born in 1899. And if there were ever a reason to light one and burn one, today is the day, because it is the 87th birthday of one Willie Nelson.
Wow. Man, oh man. What do you think the first over-under was on Willie?
600. I mean, put it this way. Willie or Keith, who you got your money on? And Willie's got him by 15 years, roughly.
Is it 15 or 10? About 12, maybe? We'll split the difference?
I would think he's closer to 70, between 70 and 75.
Okay. I'll still go Willie.
I will, too. Jerry Seinfeld, born today in 1954. Daniel Day-Lewis, born today in 1957.
Question, have you ever seen a Daniel Day-Lewis movie?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I hate his movies.
Really?
Yes, they're just
I was watching
slow.
Friday Night Lights last night. Isn't he the coach in that?
Yeah, I don't. He had a couple.
He's had a bunch of great movies.
Not a fan.
Played Lincoln.
I know. Oh, trust me. If it's a long, slow movie, he's in it. That was my point.
Mike Babcock, born today in 1963. Reggie Miller is 55 years old.
Aloysius?
Today. Yes.
Is double nickel, huh?
Andre Agassi is 50. He shares the birthday with Uma Thurman. They are both 50 years old today. And
1 minute.
And David, Justin Thomas. I think this should make everybody feel a little old because I think we all think Justin Thomas is 10.
Right.
He's 27 today.
Well, he's still closer to 25 than 30.
Yeah, but he's closer to 30 than he is 20, and he still looks like he's 6. And that is today was the day when on this April the 29th. Great final hour ahead. Bill Bender from the Sporting News will talk about the college football season, see what he is finding out up in Big Ten country, and Seth Everett, who, well, joins us every week. See what he thinks about this 3-10-team division baseball proposal that was thrown out there yesterday.
He'll hate it.
He hates everything.
He does.
He's Mikey.
He's our curmudgeon.
He's from Life Cereal. Seth, he hates everything. Coming up, Bill Bender next, Miller and Moulton.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the pool doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark.
Are you guys going to be making a phone call? Or you need me to do it?
Put it in your pool.
Why don't you do it since we're back in the saddle?
Okay, I got it.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Gangs of New York. Another just unbelievably good movie.
Years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Receiving. Over.
Alexa, play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
LeBron has shown his greatness. Kevin Durant's a better player.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Smart speaker.
Are we cheering for idiots? What's going on?
Gangs of New York is long, though. I mean, David is right on that. And it is I like that movie, but it is a slow movie.
Of course it is. Daniel Day-Lewis is in it.
Hello.
Play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
Finally, something worthwhile.
I didn't think it was going to be this easy.
This is Brian Creel here with my son Trace from Creel Tractor Company. We are open for business and taking all precautions necessary.
2 hours, 50 minutes, by the way, Gangs of New York.
2:50. Yeah,
service department
great.
is open and ready to assist with any repairs here or at your location. Kubota is offering discounts on parts for all your Kubota products and no payments for 90 days on new products. Creel Tractor. Dig up a great deal at Creel.
Right now, get 0% financing and no payments for 90 days. Offer expires May 31st. Visit KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Creel Tractor.
There Will Be Blood. That was a long one. Lincoln. That was a long one. My Left Foot. I never seen. That's the one he won the.
With over 300 ports nationwide, your local Towboat U.S. companies in Charlotte,
I believe that's the one he won
counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new membership pricing starts as low as $99. Call 239-945-1664 for more information, or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water. WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 94.1 Fox Sports Radio. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
How long was The Last of the Mohicans, though? I mean, let's be honest here.
The movie or real life?
You know, that's only an hour 52. That's a short one for him. Why don't you watch that one this afternoon,
Okay,
Dave?
I will.
Well, this setup, GL, there looks pretty good when we're next one. It's been the setup for a while. The problem is we're trying to do as much social distancing as we can right here.
Thank you, Jero.
I mean, there's so much room with this. I could put a whole headshot, like a fat head of Bender in the middle of us.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep. That's it. Miller.
This could end the bro hug. That would be great for you because there is nobody worse at the bro hug than one David Moulton.
And Moulton.
I used to be.
Hockman
2019, I found my bro hug group.
Southwest
Hockman,
Florida's
when he was
Fox
on the hold,
Sports Radio.
he just starts laughing, the bro hug thing. He just like laughed out loud. I was like,
It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com. And, well, you can watch Miller and Moulton on the Miller and Moulton Twitch and YouTube channels. Seth Everett to join us coming up in roughly 25 minutes. It's a pleasure to welcome back he of the sporting news, Bill Bender. You can follow Bill on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, how are you and the family doing these days?
Oh, we're hanging in there like everybody else, just kind of getting through this thing one day at a time. And, you know, they're starting to slowly reopen some things in Ohio, but still in the quarantine life.
well, that is where we are as well. Not as quarantined in Florida as you are in Ohio, but it's not that far off. We looked at yesterday, Bill, as a pretty significant day in terms of sports and the coronavirus. It looked yesterday for the first time that sports collectively really took a step forward. NASCAR announced they're having races. You know, we've got kids that are going to be on campus, it looks like, at places like Purdue and Oregon. And Brett McMurphy did that poll with the ADs. They say they're going to play. Do you now have a better feeling of college football being played than you did a week ago?
Yeah, I do, but I still think it might be, pushed back a little bit. I'm hoping against hope that's not the case. But, it's just about getting kids on campus safely. It's about getting, the testing done and making sure that there's not a lot of risk. And I still think you have to have fans in the stands, or I'm hoping that we can have fans in the stands, and that would make it that much better. But, I would be surprised if the season's delayed a little bit, but we still have football. They're going to do everything they can to make sure we have football because of the money that's involved.
Well, and Bill, we've been discussing, can you do fans in the stands but only do it halfway, if you know what I mean? Because social distancing, even at just 6 feet. So does that mean if four of us come to the game, we sit in seats 1, 4, 7, and 10? Can you sit people behind us and between us? I mean, we're kind of wondering that if we're going to put people in the stands, do we let them congregate amongst each other the way we're going to let people on campus congregate amongst one another? It's kind of like, hey, the risk is on you. You don't have to buy a ticket, but if we're open for business, we're open for business.
I mean, that's kind of the thinking, and then you get into that, and then I was telling people, football, the game itself, I mean, there's, hygienically speaking, there's so much sweat and blood and spit on the field that it's not the cleanest game in the world. It's one of the dirtier games in the world, and it has to be safe for the student athletes, because the one thing you want to avoid is that Rudy Gobert moment where, everything would be reset down. And I think that's almost the worst thing you can do is open everything up, and then 2 weeks later, we got to shut it down again, and you don't want that to happen.
And that's, to me, the greater question becomes on campus. If a kid in a dorm gets it, what are they going to do then? Because we all are in agreement that there's no college football without kids back on campus. But certainly when you see Brown, Purdue, and Oregon all say they're going to have kids on campus, East Coast, Midwest, left coast. I mean, we can't have geographically 3 more different places, and probably from a thought process, 3 more different places. And I think we'll see more colleges announce that in the coming weeks, that they're going to be bringing kids on campus. The question then becomes, to me, Bill, what happens if Rutgers says we can't? And they're to me, the easiest example to point to. They're a member of a Power 5 conference. They are right in the heart of where the coronavirus has hit hardest in this country. And they're the ones that are going to probably have to be the most cautious of any school that plays big-time Division I athletics not in California. What happens if the Big Ten says we're ready to play and Rutgers says, I don't know what to tell you, we're not?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's another possible thing. Some schools may not be able to open, and if for the people that track that thing, you're absolutely right. That's one of the areas of the country that's been just ravaged by the coronavirus. I mean, you're talking about over 100,000 cases and multiple deaths and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to consider. I still think as far as the schools go, it's all or nothing. Like, I don't know that they're going to exclude certain schools. I don't know if they can. I don't know what the legal implications of that are for TV revenue and all those kind of things.
He's Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Follow him on Twitter at BillBender92. Today, seen as a big day in the history of the NCAA. Shortly, they're going to begin, or at least we believe they're going to take the first steps towards letting student-athletes profit off of their name, image, and likeness. Bill, is this the end of the NCAA as we know it? Is this the only thing they could do to keep themselves in business? There are many in AD that feels that the NCAA is heading to ruin this way, that they would have been better off fighting, the old Charlton Heston, you'll rip this out of my cold, dead hands to their death, as opposed to trying to figure out a way to be all things to all people.
I mean, I think they can still enforce rules. But I just think this is another way to make the game more student-athlete friendly. And most people don't have a problem with it, and I think it will actually help the game more than it hurts. Just because it might get rid of some of the things that led to the federal trials in basketball and those kind of things too. But I do think the NCAA as an organization, it's still going to be around. Remember, these guys are hired by school presidents, so it's not. For as many hits as they take, they're merely an enforcement agency, and I think they'll continue to be that as we move forward.
Do you anticipate with the payment, do you think they're going to be able to pull this off without, what's the biggest hitch in the giddy-up, if you know what I mean? Where do you see, like, we've all figured out that this is going, but where are the problems that you see ahead? The biggest problems?
I mean, boosters that find ways to work around and give athletes, do you put a cap on how much an athlete should be able to make in a year? Those kind of things. I mean, certain athletes are much bigger to the college game than others. I mean, like Trevor Lawrence, for example. I mean, does that mean he can do a Pert Plus commercial and make X amount of money off of it before he even gets to the NFL? Again, I don't care if he does. I mean, some of those athletes deserve that. I think this is I always tell people these type of rules are not geared toward Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow and those guys. They're geared toward like the guys like that were like Tommy Frazier and the college football legends that maybe not necessarily like Tim Tebow could have made a ton of money in college that he didn't make in the NFL, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does, even though he was a first-round pick, but he had a very short career, and we were kind of viewing him when he was in college as someone who might be a big hit or miss prospect.
Maybe he's the worst. Like, you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
he's a
definitely.
bad example. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, like Trace McSorley of Penn State, a terrific college career. He's trying to latch on. I think he's on the Ravens practice squad. But right, though, you can have the terrific college athlete. And they actually think it could help some of the Olympic sport athletes also. That not just the big football and basketball athletes. You were on the Feinbaum show yesterday, and you said that you really believe there's only 5 teams this coming season who can win the national title. Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. Let's just assume you're correct. Doesn't that fly in the face then of why we should open up the playoff? I mean, if we have a clear distinction, then why do we need to throw more teams in the playoffs? Shouldn't we just let those 5 whittle down to 4 and battle it out?
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of hate on Twitter saying LSU, and LSU lost a lot, so maybe if you want to cross them off the list, fine, then it's 4. And that's why I think the 14 playoffs are right. I don't know if you need that extra game, right? I mean, I'm not against an 18 playoff because I think we're eventually going to get there. But in the current environment, there's only a handful of teams that can win this thing, and a handful of teams behind them that can really get to the playoffs. So, we're in a state of college football where the SEC and the Pac-12 are the only two conferences that you don't lightly pencil in the champion. I mean, are you guys picking anybody but Clemson in the ACC or Ohio State in the Big Ten or Oklahoma in the Big 12?
Nope.
I don't think too many people will be.
You can't. How can you? You're safe every year picking those three.
Yeah, and the gap between those three and the rest of the league, with the exception of maybe Oklahoma and I hate to say it, if Texas ever gets their act together, that could be a game. But, I mean, Ohio State and Clemson are just clearly better than everybody else in their conference. And I think that's going to continue over the next 3 to 5 years if you look at the way those two schools are recruiting.
By the way, who is number 2 in the Big Ten? Michigan likes to think they are, and they have an over-under of, 9 or 9.5, but they lost a decent amount of players. Is Penn State ahead of where Michigan is from a recruiting standpoint?
I think they're even. And I say that in that, the last 4 years, they've basically traded wins at each other's house, and they've taken turns being the biggest competition for Ohio State. Now, if we're talking about just playing Ohio State, the last 3 years, Penn State's given Ohio State better games than Michigan, but Michigan's also beat Penn State handily. Michigan just sent 10 guys to the NFL, but that's kind of the difference between them and Ohio State is 8 of Michigan's guys were day 3 guys. So I think for Harbaugh, it's 2 things. It's about reeling in more of that 5-star blue chip talent, and 2, developing a game-changing quarterback that can tilt the field like Justin Fields does, like Trace McSorley did. Shea Patterson went undrafted. That was one of the – and he hasn't signed. That's one of those surprises considering he was a 5-star quarterback.
Bill, what are you hearing about non-conference games? Do the ADs and coaches think that they're going to remain on the schedule, or that this college football season could just be conference games? Because I will say, and granted, all conferences are not the same size, but I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if every Big Ten team and every SEC team played one another. Same with the ACC. I really don't. For 1 year, our coronavirus year, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's 13 conference games, and I don't know. Of course, they're not going to eliminate the conference championship game. It's too big of a cash grab. But you know what I'm getting at, Bill. If we didn't have non-conference games this year and the conferences really open things up, I mean, some of these schools go 5-7 years without even playing one another. They go 10, 12 plus years without playing on the road.
Yeah, I think this will be a year in sports where we just throw a lot of asterisks on how it's done. You're seeing MLB toy with their format. There might not be an NHL or NBA playoffs. It's going to be one of those years that we all look back on 20 years from now like, yeah, man, that was horrible. So hopefully, I mean, if they have to ditch the non-conference games, that's fine, just for travel concerns and those kind of things. And, I'm just hoping that we have some sort of football in the fall, because I need something to write about other than the last dance.
Listen, I think there are a lot of people appreciative in Michigan of you, sticking up for the bad boys.
Oh, my friends were killing me that day. That's a long-running joke with my best friends and I. I've always been a staunch defender of the Pistons, and they think I'm trolling. And then we got in a big argument over text on Monday, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the next best thing. I'm going to write a column about it, and I sent it to all of them, and then we argued some more. My buddies really hate the Pistons, but remember where I live. I live in Ohio.
And Bill, I always liked you. I liked you more now as a Michigan native and someone who loved those Piston teams. Now I'm even happier the next time we bring you back.
Well,
put a genuine smile on my face.
Yeah, just tell them. I mean, if you don't, people act like all they did was elbow people, and one of their championship teams had 5 guys that averaged 13 or more, including 2 of the best guard. The best guard play they had Dumars and Isaiah, so they were going to be in every game.
Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Follow him on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, stay safe. All the best.
Yeah, I will. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Bill Bender, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. Both Pistons runs, I was thinking about this, both Pistons runs have been shortchanged. People think the Pistons haven't been good since the quote-unquote bad boys.
Right, they won a title in between that.
Well, but not only that, Mark, I think they went to 5 straight conference finals. 03 through 07, I think they were in the conference finals every year. I think Jason Kidd and the Nets beat them in 03. They win the title in 04. They lose in the finals in 07 in 05. All right, the Heat beat them in the conference finals in 06. LeBron and the Cavs beat them in the conference finals in 07. I mean, they had the 5 years with Isaiah, and then they went to the conference finals, 3 straight trips to the NBA finals. They had 5 years in the last 2 decades ago where they went to the conference finals and went to 2 finals, and people completely forget. They think the Pistons have only been good for 1 year out of the last 30.
And I think the second run was because there was no superstars on that team, a bunch of good players.
Correct.
And largely the bad boys, because of the image, you don't think that, and Isaiah's, I think, listed as one of the 75 best players of all time.
He made that 50.
Or the 50 list. And I'm not an Isaiah guy. Whenever he led them and he was their leading scorer, they didn't win. Isaiah was a better distributor, and they played better when he was a true point guard. I was not the big eyes. I was a Dumars guy, not an Isaiah guy. But yeah, Joe Dumars was a great NBA player. Great player. And they had Aguirre from a scoring standpoint on that team. I mean, like I said yesterday, Bill Laimbeer, who was a terrific big man shooter. Celtics, Lakers, Bulls. There's this gap in there of this team from Detroit.
And it is remarkable when you think about it. They beat Larry and the Celtics, they beat Magic and the Lakers, and they beat Michael and the Bulls. And yet, I think everyone, even if you hated them, you can say, yeah, they didn't get the credit they deserve, which is funny because who else do they have to beat?
Rodman came off the bench on those teams.
So did Rodman. James Edwards, Vinnie Johnson, John Sally, Dennis Rodman, all came off the bench.
Right.
On those
Starting
teams.
5 was Dumars, Thomas, Aguirre, Laimbeer, and Mahorn.
And that was for the first title, and then Mahorn, I think, was part of the expansion draft. And then that's when they put Rodman in the next season, his second year with them. They eventually worked him in, or third year with him, they worked him in the starting lineup. In that Bad Boys documentary, I think it was Aguirre, right? Didn't Aguirre say, yeah, he's got to play? And didn't Aguirre come off the bench?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, what's funny between the Bad Boys documentary and The Last Dance, I think people give Rodman a lot of crap and say he's an actor and, phony, and that when you watch the NAIA highlights of Dennis Rodman, he's the same player on the court as he was with the 60 different colored hair with the Bulls. Same stride with the knees come up almost to his chin. Same excitement with the arms up after. He just, as they pointed out in the documentary, he met Madonna, and Madonna let him know, go be you. Figure out who you are and go do it. And, well, he did.
What's even more remarkable about that collection of Bulls was, Rodman came from the NAIA, so did Pippen. And Ron Harper in the second go-round was from Miami of Ohio, right? Was it Ron Harper from a MAC school?
MAC played a little basketball back then. I mean, they played a little basketball back then. Dan Marley played in the MAC, too.
I'm not saying the MAC's bad.
It is now. But it is now. Then it wasn't. All these cities in Ohio, and the Rust Belt was huge. MAC basketball in the 80s was terrific.
Yes, and even in the 90s, Zerbiak and No,
it was terrific. Now it's awful.
But to think that some people consider the 96 Bulls to be the greatest team of all time and won 72 games, and 2 of the 5 starters played in the NAIA.
Right.
And played there in the 80s. There's no internet. There's very little film even. For word to get out for somebody to come and scout you took you knowing somebody. It was real easy to fall through the cracks in the mid-'80s in the NAIA.
Hey, when, I'm all in when the Pistons drafted Rodman. I mean, I'm watching drafts. When they drafted Isaiah and Tripucka in the same draft, I became a Piston fan at that moment. I always liked them, but that's kind of about the time we got cable, and I could watch every game. George Blaha called the games. He had a great delivery, and I was in. And they drafted Rodman, and I remember the next day, whether it was at school or talking to friends going, who in the hell is that guy that they drafted? I mean, we were all like, what is this, Southeast Oklahoma State? Turned out to be okay.
Miller, it also shows once and for all, just go where you're comfortable. They'll find you. I mean, honestly, this whole you got to go to the big school and what have you. I mean, honestly, just go. Go where it works for you. They'll find you. They'll draft you. You'll get your shot. Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett, he will join us next, the good, the better, and the best, to wrap up this Wednesday edition. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We just want to take a moment to tell you, we miss it too. We miss the crack of the bat, the banging of trash cans. We miss the dunks.
Slams it home for 2.
The left turns.
Look out.
The hockey horns. The kiss cans. The wave. The high fives. We miss it all.
We just got to wait this out and see how he goes.
Lindgren put it on Facebook with his second Lindgren. My kind of girl.
We'll get through it. The USA needs it.
On Fox Sports Radio.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
At Naples Nissan, the answer is yes. Yes, we're open, and you can still get the original base MSRP for your trade-in. Yes, your new Nissan will come with a full tank of gas for the next year and our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. And yes, absolutely yes, our entire team is fully committed to doing everything we can to help keep our entire Southwest Florida community healthy and safe. If your trade-in is less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll still pay you what you paid for it so you can drive home in a brand new, disinfected Nissan today. That's right, folks. Every new Nissan that leaves our lot will be treated with
He went to Charlotte.
Yeah, they lost Moulton in the expansion draft, I believe.
Plus, a full tank of gas on
Did
us
they lose?
for the next year. To learn more about everything we're saying yes
They lose
to,
like James Edwards to the
Visit
Timberwolves or something.
NaplesNissan.com. Yes, offers are on select models with approved credit, and yes, they can be.
I love James Edwards.
These are
reminded me of my Uncle Jimmy. Had
And
the
that
same
goes for
kind of
all
face
of us in
and the
the
same
news
kind of
business
mustache.
too. I'm Lois Tomey.
Always reminded me of Stymie.
With so many breaking developments
Stymie
happening
had a
every
dark
day in the
Stymie
coronavirus,
could have passed
all of us
for
at Wink News are committed to
half
bringing
black,
you the
half white in the
facts,
summer because
not
I've never
fear.
seen a human
That's
that could
why
get
we
darker
are
than my
very
Uncle Jimmy. He had
conscious
that
about
big,
the
huge
words we use to
handlebar
report the
mustache.
coronavirus
James was a
story
light-skinned dude. I'm
without
thinking
the
he looked just
facts,
like. I'm like,
not
that's my
fear.
Uncle Jim.
Wink News. That's our commitment to
Love
you.
James
And your family.
He was a pretty good player.
Like Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio on Facebook.
But we went 9 deep then. You brought in your second unit.
Pool need a
That's
checkup.
why you played
Call
80.
doctor.
By the way,
Go
that's
pool
why you played
doctor.
82.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. LED
Because
color
second
changing
units
pool lights
played.
can create an after-dark backyard oasis. Pick your color or select one of the light shows. You can see how dramatic it really is on our website. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business.
You want me to
right.
wait till
Prescription is
8:30
the
to
Pool
call
Doctor
Seth,
for
right?
Award-winning pool service.
No.
Repairs
No, you can call him
and
now.
unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
There will be parties again soon, and family gatherings. There'll be parades and sporting events and concerts. To help our communities when they come back together, respond to the 2020 census now. Spend a few minutes online today to impact the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Respond online today to make America's tomorrow brighter. Shape your future.
They were going to expose
more
porn.
at
Well, no, he
2020census.gov.
actually got
Yeah.
selected,
Paid
yeah.
for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Dial star 2020. Friends, I care.
When it comes to cataract surgery, the lens you choose matters. And Dr. Jonathan France and the caring team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you navigate your vision challenges with an intelligent solution, the PanOptix intraocular lens. Dr. France, proud to not only be the first in Southwest Florida to bring you the breakthrough technology of the trifocal solution, he's also the #1 PanOptix surgeon in the state of Florida. PanOptix, specially designed to help patients see 20/20 at distances that are near, far, and even in between. Experience the freedom of living without glasses for distance driving, computers, and
Again, I
reading.
see a wow
With
from somebody. I'm
PanOptix,
like,
you'll experience
as
clear
per
advantage
today
that you
on
didn't know
Miller
was
and
possible.
Moulton.
See your
Then,
future in 2020.
just letting
Find out
everyone
if
know
you
who
are a
missed. I'm like,
candidate for PanOptix
little
today
credit?
by dialing
You know, I mean,
star 20 from
well,
your cell phone.
you wanna check
or
a
call
resource there for crying out loud?
239-418-0999.
Friends, I care.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
Your life.
"27 minutes past the hour. Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. This and every show on the station streamed at foxsportsfm.com. If you miss any part of the show, every single hour is given its own podcast. Thanks to Connecticut, Quality Water Systems of Southwest Florida. Best specials that we've ever seen them offer, quite frankly. In the 15-plus years that we've been doing business with them each, Connecticut, Quality Water Systems of Southwest Florida. He's Seth Everett, host of Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice, has his own Twitch channel. You can follow Seth on Twitter at Seth_Everett. Seth, how are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm okay. You know, another day. Is it Wednesday?
It is.
I lost track.
Seth, the only reason you should be able to keep track of the days is that we're going to call you every Wednesday at 8:30. We are your time and date.
Right.
Just to remind you that it's Wednesday, 8:30. That's about all we're good for right now.
Right. And the way my life has gone, it's 3 days post-draft. As long as the draft is over, then I'm good. 'Cause
Wow.
Then I lost complete track of time.
Well, first off, we need a draft every week right now. I mean, I think another sport should have a draft this Thursday. Hell, I think the NHL, if they were smart, they would televise their draft right now because people would watch just for the sake of being able to watch something. Seth,
They do televise their draft, but they don't have their season's not over, and I'm in such a different boat than you, and I it's so weird. I miss sports for my work purposes. My work suffers, you know, the content, especially when I do sports updates for one of my jobs, and you know, try doing 3 minutes in Alabama when there is sports, and you know, like those are hard. But at night, I have been inundated. Like I'm so behind in all the TV shows that I want to watch that if there were games on right now, it would literally further delay my completion of some of these shows, and it's been really, really hard. I don't know about you guys. I am swamped, and I don't have a minute to breathe.
because of television shows that you're watching?
I was going to say.
No, yeah, right. Well, okay, let's just say for the sake of the argument, I work a 9-hour day, normally. You know, between writing and editing audio and then on air and appearances and things like that. Let's just say it's a 9-hour day. You add 3 hours of teaching second grade English. It is literally it's a unique form of mind numbing torture. It's awful, and the feeling that I get because I'm not a teacher and I have such respect for teachers. But when my kid is struggling with the answer, and I have a show at 1 o'clock on Twitch, and it's 12:40, how I don't just want to give her the answer. And it's nonsense. Come on, kid, it's 23. It's 23. 20 plus 20 is 40 plus 3. It's 23. And I could do that, and it's just driving me bananas.
Did you hear a little Pinella there?
Yeah, was he?
I thought.
Do you talk to your children like Lou Pinella?
Say, how does Pinella
teach math?
Always seemingly come out of your mouth.
Well, right now, this is my second graders learning money, right? So you got a dime, a nickel,
Oh, boy.
2 quarters. You got a lot of money there. And, Junior, he wanted to stay out and get a bigger contract. So we had to pay him a lot of quarters and a lot of nickels, but no pennies.
Exactly. And Seth, I guess because my media workday ends at 9 o'clock and I go into my day as kindergarten teacher and house husband. Yes. I've already
but you're doing it straight. You're not getting interrupted.
No,
I can't reach you at 11 o'clock in the morning.
No,
right? Because I've said to you, can we talk at 11 or can we talk at 1? And you can't because you're in school mode. Well, I'm in school mode and my wife's in school mode, but we're still working.
No, I get you, and I get where that struggle is.
I hate it.
I mean, I've already nominated myself. Down here, we have the Golden Apples for teachers.
Right.
I am putting a nomination in for the work I've done. I've mastered. We've moved to a 4-day school week. I have everything done by Thursday. I'm changing the way school's done, Seth. But I want to ask you a serious question because we think that the last 24 hours in the sports world has been significant. NASCAR announced that they're going to race. We've already had golf coming back. We've had university presidents from Brown to Purdue to Oregon say they're going to have kids on campus. Seth, it looked like yesterday was a really good day for sports going forward. But I'm in an area where we opened the beaches back up. It's very different than where you are.
Oh, we saw. We watch it. We watch it online.
Go ahead. And I mean, I'm not going to get in that. I'll do that at another time on another show. We can have that debate anytime. But my question to you is, Seth, did you feel like yesterday was a significant day for sports moving forward? Or because of where you are, you can't even look at what the sports world talked about realistically yet?
No, I saw the stories. I thought the most significant story yesterday was the Super Bowl it can be moved. When they announced that the Super Bowl could be played on February 28th, and in reality, if it could be moved to February 28th, it could be moved to March. And that gives me significant hope that the NFL will have a complete 16-game season. I like the rhetoric coming from there. The nonsense with the gyms, with the NBA, is literally just the stupidest thing I've heard because what they're doing is literally just trying to placate these players. And I don't blame the players. I understand, but it goes against everything that we're being taught here because I'd like to go to the gym too. I'd love to go to the gym. I'd love to listen to a podcast. I'd love to do a lot of things that I don't normally do. And that's part of it. The stuff with NASCAR I get because I think there's a method in which you can have a NASCAR race and still maintain social distancing to a degree. But I don't know if you saw the funeral in Brooklyn for, I guess, a rabbi or something, and there were like 300 people not honoring social distancing. And they were all hugging and crying and doing all these things, and they showed the footage of it, and people were dumbfounded. De Blasio came out and just said, you realize that by honoring the dead that way, more of you are going to die. And that's a fact, because they were all older people. And that's crazy. That logic is absolutely nuts. And I understand people are getting really tired of the quarantine. I am tired of it too. But the reality of it is I don't want to relapse. And I don't want more people to have to lose their life just because we want to get going with our lives. And I think it's positive in that we're talking about sports and we're getting there. I still think for baseball it's way too soon. I think for basketball that season is over. NHL's in a real precarious situation, and the thing I took the most positive was the NFL.
Well, what I found interesting about both the NBA and particularly the NHL, the word that they've leaked out this week is that both want to resume their regular seasons. And one, I think they're both mistaken. I think they should just, if they come back, go straight to the playoffs. But the other thing is that implies they're coming back sooner than later because you need obviously more time if you're going to play regular season games. Because if you're going to play regular season games, then you're probably thinking we're not going to shorten the playoffs, and the playoffs in both sports take roughly 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Baseball, quickly. The Arizona, Texas, Florida. We got 5 dome stadiums. I mean, 6 if you want to move games to San Antonio. The stadium's never really been used for baseball, but it is a dome. I mean, do you think...
I hadn't thought of that. That's not bad.
Do you think that has some, merit to it? I mean, in theory, if you could find... I mean, there's a part of me, Seth, that wonders, could you play in 5 domes and in the old Arlington Stadium, which is still there? I mean, they did knock it down.
Then it's Texas in the summer.
Yeah, I know. But that's 5 domes that could go to San Antonio and make 6. I mean, now in theory, you could move every division. You could just say, here's your stadium. I mean, you could put the AL East at the top, couldn't you?
Well, the way they're talking about is having 3 10-team divisions.
Yes.
And a Florida, a Texas, and an Arizona, I guess you call it, or Cactus. The way they're talking about it, again, to me, it's just about testing. It's just about making sure you can police a quarantine. It's all stuff that we've gone over, and I don't think at this stage we're ready for that. Do I think that maybe we're getting there? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. The numbers are starting to trend downward, which is a good thing. But it's because of the after effects of everything that's gone on up here, which is no one's going anywhere. And I think the big thing that you have to look at least from my standpoint, is when is it going to be possible that we have so many tests that we can test the 1,000 people that it would require to get baseball going? Like, how do you forget the players? Like, there's 750 players if there's active 25-man rosters. I guess I have to change that number because there's 26-man rosters now. And this argument from my standpoint is all the officials and all the other people, they all have to get tested also. And do we have enough tests? And if you ask Governor Murphy here in New Jersey, he'd say, hell no. And if you said to him, could you give me 100 tests? If every state gave me 100 tests and I could get sports going, he'd say absolutely not. Because older people need those tests. They need that stuff. And those medical supplies are all for people who have their lives depending on it, and baseball players aren't. And the probability of a baseball player contracting the virus and getting really, really sick is very minimal. So I understand there's minimal risk there. But you'd have to test those guys because you'd have to know who's infected so you can prevent the spread. And then what happens to these players who want to go home to their families? And what happens to the ones who go home to their families and their families go out, or their families don't respect social distancing, and they have a plumber come over, and the next thing you know, now they're contracted and then they're spreading it. It's constant, and we're not in a position to have it down yet.
And that's the question for the sports leagues. For the colleges, as they've already said, they're not doing anything till they come back. But some campuses are talking about...
I wanted to ask you guys about that. Yeah.
Well, some campuses come back.
I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
my biggest question, I'll ask you the same thing I've asked everybody about this, Seth, because you're right in the middle of it. The Big Ten says we're playing football. Rutgers says...
We're on the same page.
Rutgers says, we can't have... 13 Big Ten schools say we're bringing everybody back. And New Jersey says we cannot, because it is far worse in New Jersey and in New York than it is anywhere in the country. We know that. So Jersey says no. What the hell does the Big Ten do then?
The Big Ten, that's one I hadn't gone. My suggestion is, if the SEC says we're going and we're opening campuses, that's one thing. I don't think the ACC can. I don't think the Big Ten can. And there's others. I haven't gone conference by conference. Will the NCAA go forward this season with half their teams? And I'm fine with that if that's the way you go. If we're the three of us are in agreement that you cannot put student athletes at risk if you have deemed your campus is unsafe for students.
Correct.
Yes.
If you're not having students on campus, you can't have student athletes.
Correct.
So that's one rule. I don't think we had our meeting Friday, and this is not breaking news, but it wasn't really a public meeting because I teach that podcasting class at Syracuse in the fall, and they said we have 3 contingencies. Scenario A, we start on time. Scenario B, we are delayed. We start online, but we get to campus at some point during the semester. and scenario 3 is you're entirely online. And you, as a teacher, have to be prepared for all 3. And I took that, and all I said, and you guys tell me if you disagree, if my student is a sophomore, if my child is a sophomore at any 4-year school that is considering that scenario, I'm withdrawing for the year. I'm not paying that kind of money for online school. Now, I don't blame them for doing this past semester because that was a knee-jerk reaction and they had no choice because you had already started the semester. But if I'm a parent and my school might be online, I will withdraw for the year, take online, go to the University of Phoenix and take some online basic requirement classes so the credits transfer and stay home. And come back next year and graduate when you're 23.
Right, and Seth,
that's the conversation we're having, and it's so amazing that you guys are having a conversation of what does the Big Ten do if 12 out of 13 schools want to go. It's amazing how we're different.
But in a way we're not, because what we have come to the conclusion of is what you're just wrestling with, that because the money is tied up in getting the kids on campus. And this is all about money. At the end of the day, we're going to talk and say it's about public safety. It's not. This is about money. It's about money. It's about money. It's about money for the universities. It's about money for the athletic departments. And the only way that both of them make their money, the university's got to get the kids on campus. That allows you to then play sports. And then we wrestle with how many people we're going to let to watch the sports. So the first part of the equation,
as long as they get the CBS money, they don't care about fans.
Well, that's actually wrong. That's actually wrong, Seth. They do. It's the one business that needs fans. See, the NFL can operate without fans, Seth. Every time the Florida Gators play a home game, it's $6 million in the account. $6 million times 7 games.
What do they make per game for television?
They don't make that.
They don't make that.
They do not make that, Seth. That's over. They make about $100 million in a year total, and half of it's from the gate from football. It is the most important revenue because Seth, it's not just tickets.
So
These people, hang on, Seth. It's not just.
Would you not play if you without fans? If I told you SEC could play no fans, you'd say
no play. I wouldn't play.
I would.
I would not.
I would, but because I'd rather have the $40 million economic hit than the $80 million economic hit. But it's a huge deal in college football to not have fans. Yeah. It's a much bigger part of the equation than it is if the NFL doesn't have fans. Because the NFL, each team gets far more money from their contracts than each college team does.
This question came up on our Twitch show. By the way, all you folks, we have a Twitch show. Ton Thomas and I, 1 to 3 on our channel, and when he's not teaching homeschool, he's going to go host that show right on our channel. Is there an SEC school, and I didn't have an example of this, but is there an SEC school that if you wiped out the college football season, that school is in danger of filing for bankruptcy and going under?
Well,
shutting its doors permanently.
I'll say this. Louisiana has had a lot of money problems in recent years. And
post-Katrina. Yeah.
LSU's football program is 85+% of the athletic department. And considering depending on the school, like Alabama's got a 3-phase stadium project that's in the works right now. They're dependent on all this money. File for bankruptcy is a little too severe from a university standpoint, but you could make the case in a business sense that athletic departments would be bankrupt if they don't play football.
And if you're talking about LSU and the idea that Fauci says, let's just say for the sake of the argument, Fauci says kids can go on campus, but they can't have roommates. They have to practice social distancing, and the classes, they have to be 6 feet apart, and all those things. And yes, you can play football, but it has to be supervised and quarantined. If you said all that, because all that's realistic, but fans can't come to stadiums, you're saying the SEC would say no games?
I don't know what the SEC would say.
I'm saying the SEC would say, thank you, Dr. Fauci. We'll take that under recommendation, and then they would go play football with fans in the stands.
That's what I think.
Available here. Go online.
that's what I think would happen also. And the funny thing is that, Seth, what you just said, to me, all of it's plausible except for if those are the recommendations, you can't play football. If you're letting everybody back in on campus, but you have to have social distancing, you can't have two linemen line up next to one another and spit on each other for 3 hours.
Point. Right.
I mean,
John's point is saying this is because he's an AAU coach, and he literally, his players are itching to play. And all he keeps saying is, he says, he goes, this is not under control enough, and there's too many restrictions to do it properly. And he's right. And he thinks all these plans are stupid because he thinks it's all premature. He also had open heart surgery. Remember, Ton Thomas, during his NBA career, had open heart surgery, and he has zero immune system. And he has not left his house since the Syracuse, North Carolina game, not in the ACC tournament, at the Dome when they retired John Wallace's number on February 29th. He got home March 2nd and has not left his home since for anything. He's gone to his backyard. That's it.
And
he's in Maryland.
And that's the part of this. And you described the big thing there, though. There's a pre-existing condition, and that's a totally separate issue from the rest of the population. I mean, that has to be established first and foremost.
Correct. Right, but how many people will be honest and truthful about that? I mean, it's unpoliceable.
It's complicated. There's no doubt about it. And outside of staying home, there's going to be risk. We believe, because of all the money that is involved, not just in sports, but for the universities as a whole, that they are going to put people back on campus, and they are going to put people back in the stadiums, and they are going to go to school, and they are going to play. Seth, 30 seconds.
In some areas. In some areas.
No. I think in every place but the Northeast. And only in certain areas of the Northeast, because we've already had the president of Brown University say that they're planning on everything being, quote unquote, normal come August. But Seth, we're pressed for time. Quickly, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice.
Gary Green is the owner of 3 minor league teams. We talk about the impact of this on the minor league situation. Fascinating conversation about how that industry and how baseball was trying to contract 40 teams before the coronavirus, and how they're going to use the coronavirus as an excuse to wipe out even more teams. And then on the Hall of Justice, let's just not kid ourselves, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, the filmmaker, one of the original podcasters, 3.1 million Twitter followers. He is literally one of my favorite interviews, and this could break my records for Hall of Justice. Kevin Smith comes out tomorrow.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear it. One of my favorites as well. Seth, be well. We'll talk Wednesday, 8:30. You can set your clock by it.
Set the clock. It's just Wednesday. Okay, what do I do on Wednesdays? Okay, see you guys later, guys.
Seth Everett. Follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. And, yes, he has his own Twitch channel and Twitch show as well. And sometimes he airs our stuff and we air his stuff. Miller and Moulton. The good, the better, and the best as we wrap up this Hump Day edition. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is a special coronavirus update from Wink News.
I'm Therese O'Shea with Wink News. Governor Ron DeSantis is set to release recommendations on how to reopen our state today. He just wrapped up a trip to the White House meeting with President Trump. Florida's safer at home order ends tomorrow night. More local beaches reopening today and tomorrow. Lee County beaches open this morning with all parking, restrooms, and amenities. Collier County beaches open tomorrow at sunrise. Deputies in both counties will be out patrolling to make sure you're social distancing. Sanibel, Marco Island, and Naples will meet today to discuss opening city beaches. Anyone ineligible for state unemployment benefits may still qualify for federal help. The DEO says if you applied on or before April 4th, you should reapply to request federal pandemic unemployment assistance. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News, facts, not fear.
You can open it
We've got our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. We're talking about their huge selection and great pricing on Core-Tec flooring. Tim, tell us what's new at the store.
Right now we have 90 colors of Core-Tec in stock, ready to go pick up, put down as soon as you want it. Everything from starting at $2.99 on up with lifetime warranty.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood. Look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
It's really well written. For professional roofing, someone wants to go back to life. Someone wants to wear a mask.
Dan Martin over here, owner of DR Martin Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is DR Martin.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand, and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in, when you can deal directly with a local, family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors? My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdor.com.
Twitter. Follow Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio on Twitter. Follow us, Fox Sports SWFL.
First off, you're not getting out of the car. Going through
You own a home with a tile or shingle roof? You live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma that's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us, 239-283-2013. It's a free, no obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
A big part of enjoying a good bike ride are all the sights you see along the way.
So when David and I both developed cataracts, it didn't take long for us to do something about it.
Turns out some of the best cataract surgeons in the world are right here in our area at Community Eye Center.
We really care about improving people's lives by improving their vision.
Dr. Spalding and Dr. Spatafor really do care about helping people, and we're so glad they helped us.
They're excited. We share in that excitement. It makes us feel great about what we do.
Hi, this is Dr. Scheibel from Community Eye Center.
Then they run another clip of Trump, and he's got the voice, and the hands are going.
The coronavirus is so tiny, 100 million particles fit on the head of a pin. As we run around in our trucks and cars and play golf and go fishing and go to work and do the things we like to do, we are spreading the virus. The virus can only move with us. Over 65, diabetes, COPD,
and then by the end of it,
he's just will be hurt severely by this virus. Wash your hands. Be careful. Don't be a spreader.
Well, we've hit rock bottom.
Hey, let me say something. Let me say something. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
You know things are really bad when Waffle House is closed and Mark Miller has a positive attitude?
Let's pump the brakes there.
With that being said, here's our brand new bright and shiny segment. Mark Miller's The Good, The Better, and The Best. Man, I hope we get back to normal fast. This is weird.
You're live.
For the good today, we go to Tennessee for a non-coronavirus good for a change. It's kind of fun to do something that doesn't have anything to do with this thing. But after a tornado destroyed the Cookeville, Tennessee home of Faith and Eric Johnson, they had time to hide in the bathtub, but the dog was gone. And they'd seen it around. They put food out. After 54 days, Bella came home.
Awesome.
Don't know how they find it. Can't ever figure it out. But Bella made it home. For the better, we go to Texas, where Valerie, I don't even know how you pronounce her last name, XU, however you want to go with that, set up a GoFundMe campaign to raise enough money to donate 11,200 masks to the University of Texas Southwest Medical Center in Dallas. She partnered with an Asian American-run business in Dallas that matched all of her GoFundMe donations. She raised $7,500, kicking in $1,200 from her personal savings to reach the goal. She said, I just want to make a difference. I want to show others that Asian Americans are standing alongside healthcare workers and are willing to help contribute. For the best, we go across the pond, where people are just being nicer these days, and I sure as hell hope it continues. Bond Cliff tweeted out a photo of a handwritten note which mentioned she lives alone and has nothing to read and really would appreciate anything. Spare books, DVDs. Well, people dropped off some books and DVDs, and now it looks as the tweet has gone viral, racking up 500,000 likes. She said she'll return the books and DVDs, but she's got enough to last for quite a quarantine going forward. And that is the good, the better, and the best on today, April the 29th, in the longest month of the longest year of any of your lives, 2020.
The NCAA, they're having a teleconference in a matter of minutes, but they have gone public and said they're going to allow student athletes to receive compensation, third-party endorsements, also compensation for social media, businesses they've already started, and personal appearances within the guiding principles that they put forth about 6 months ago. It's going to be a new NCAA, Mark. Let's see how boosters exploit and ruin this.
Let's just hope they have the chance to, David. Sooner than later. Can't we at least agree on that? Miller and Moulton. Want to thank Seth Everett and Bill Bender for joining us today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, you guys have a good day. See you tomorrow.
You too.